You can join it now. He has to let you in.
I did too.
Did you click on it? It says like this to me.
But it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh. It might take you a minute. Just go to it again. Just hold it down. Just hold it down and do copy. And then put it in a URL.
Well, yes, that's what I usually do. I write to my email.
Why don't you just go to like a web browser? You have like, how do you get to the internet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now Google. And then do one at the top, do another.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Next, I had these things turned the wrong way.
That work?
It's supposed to be turned against them. It's supposed to be turned this way.
It's okay.
Good. All pretty good. See if I can get it.
Hallelujah. How about the rain? How about this rain? Don't you think we had enough?
Oh, absolutely. Too
What's
much.
for you?
Absolutely too much.
Let's start.
Started?
This is for the first hearing. 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 I know.
Is the person here?
No, they're out of
Even,
state.
even.
Huh?
The property is here, they're out of state. They gave it to Ken to enter into the record.
Then are you going to read it?
They'll just tell you.
Joe Kenwell?
He's gonna announce it.
Okay.
Yeah, give it to me.
It might help.
Oh, yeah.
Blacksmith? Does either you or Councilman Smith want to go on vacation? I think Councilman Green did it last time. Maximum, like one of the two of you, if not.
You go ahead and do it. No, Smith wants to do.
You want to check with him?
Like.
Honey, are you able to take care of just announcing that it's here?
Can't hear you.
I am the
Smith, I was supposed to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Would you give the indication tonight?
Sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Trying to get them.
We're ready whenever you're ready.
Testing 1, 2.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. We're trying to assist with the video, so it's all on, and okay, I can see it again. Okay, as we begin to prepare for the meeting, we're going to ask if you have your cell phones, if you can just turn those on vibrate for us, and we'll give you just a moment to do that, and then we'll get started. Thanks so much. Okay, thank you so much. And we want to just take this opportunity to thank you for attending, and for all of those who are attending online as well. We thank you for participating. So at this point in time, we're going to call the Town of Magonia Park Planning and Zoning Board meeting of November 17th, 2020 into session. Roll call, please.
Mayor O'Leary.
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Green.
Here.
Councilmember McCall.
Here.
And Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Thank you so much. Of course, this is indeed a public meeting, and of course, we come to attend to the MLUP 2020-02. This is a master planning use plan. So we're going to go to our attorney at this time, Amity.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and Planning and Zoning Board, as you're sitting here tonight with those hats on. I'm going to say very little. I don't have to swear anyone in. This is not a quasi-judicial hearing. This is a repeat of what was before you last month, the same master land use plan. So with that, I'll answer any questions you have along the way, but in terms of your task for tonight, I think that was made very clear at the previous hearing. So this is just a second hearing with revised master land use plan before you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Ken, do you have anything at this time before we call forward?
No, sir.
Okay.
This time it's up to call the applicant.
Okay. All right, thanks.
And a reminder, there's 45 seconds on the way to so there's no questions.
Okay, thank you so much. So noted. And we will attend to that. If there's any questions when we get to that session, we'll just hold for 45 seconds to allow for our viewers to be able to hear in time as well. Okay. Thank you so much. And,
My name is Dante Gregari. I'm with Meredith Jones, 1400 Center Park Boulevard, Lacombe. So we were here about a month or so ago during our last hearing, and it was very evident that the current residents of Montgomery Park are not very happy about our traffic discharging into Boardman. This is just something that we try to work through a couple of different scenarios, and at the end of the day, after our last hearing, we went back and really took a look at our plan from the bottom up, and we certainly heard the residents of the community saying, obviously there was no zone for Boardman at all. So with that being said, we took the opportunity to visit with our team, visited with the town staff, its consultants, as well as Palm Beach County. And so, therefore, about 2 weeks or so ago, we had a high-level call with the Palm Beach County Transportation Department, and based on the conditions of approval that they gave us for the project, they waived the condition that Boardman was part of that condition of approval. So Boardman, in essence, is no longer part of the discharging of all our traffic. All our traffic now will go either north and south on West Place, and Boardman will be closed off to any residents coming from the Enclave project. So that was the biggest crux. Again, I just wanted to thank the staff for working with us along with that. But I knew that that was something that was, pretty. It was just a point of that. I mean, it just brought a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety to have that traffic coming to the community. And so therefore, our project, we redesigned our roadway. We'll be blocking off Boardman, and none of our traffic will be dispersing in that direction. Anyone coming or going to the community will, use West Place as an access point. So that's, again, the comment on the attorney's comments. Basically, everything else in the plan is pretty much intact, with the exception of the access. That was the major change. Again, we appreciate all of the support and guidance that we received from the town and staff, but again, certainly to the residents, we heard it loud and clear. And certainly, we appreciate the opportunity to come back and speak to you about this application. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Dante. Before we go out to the floor, and of course this is a public hearing, so we will go to the floor for comments. We're going to entertain any questions or comments that council may have. But just for the record, we do have a council member who was not present at the last meeting, so we're going to defer to him first, if I may, in the event that Councilman Smith has any questions or comments, and then we'll entertain any other comments from council, then we'll go to the floor. Okay, so we'll begin in that order.
Good evening. My only comment will be that you took significant time to go back and reestablish Boardman and how you're going to go about this project. It continued to go forward, and so that's genuine concern for me. I'm a resident as well of the north, and so it makes sense that Palm County Emergency Homes listed, and not only listed, but you made significant change to not access Boardman. So that's my comment right now. I've seen and heard, and so I may have some questions further, but that's definitely addressed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Councilman Smith. So at this time, the floor is, the dais is open for any questions or comments. Just before we do, Ken, you have something?
Well, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, in front of me is a letter of objection, if you will, from Colonel Scott Schrader, who is owner of a residence on West Place. His mother actually lives at the residence, and he wanted that to be put into the record tonight. That was also emailed to me. And just for the record, he's also on Zoom, so at some point he may make comment to you.
Certainly. So noted.
Mr. Mayor.
Thanks so much.
Sorry, I didn't.
Okay. I'm sorry, just so noted. We do have a copy, and that's for the record as a
No,
noted.
I don't have a
Councilwoman
question.
Green?
I didn't understand a word he said.
Okay. No, he was stating that
With
there
the
was a
mask
letter.
on, we're going to have to be more.
Okay. No, he was stating that with the letter that we received, and I was just acknowledging that we received the letter, and it would be entered into the record. Okay. Okay. So with that, if there's any questions or comments that council have, we'll entertain those now. Any questions or comments?
I have.
I haven't had a chance to read through the letter yet, but I'm sure it has, in the first paragraph, a
Where is
direct
the letter?
concern. I'll go ahead and read through this comment. I have other comments later.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll come back to you. Councilwoman Green?
Yes, I would like to see a copy of the letter is what I was trying to see, because I didn't understand the word the comment just said.
Okay, this was a copy of a letter, and I'll just pass my copy down to you. It's in the packet from Mr. Schrader, who lives on Boardman, and that we've entered into the record.
And what does the letter say? I know I don't have time to sit here and read the letter. I didn't hear what you said.
Ken?
If I could, Manager Metcalf, I believe that
Thank you.
the resident may also be on Zoom, so they may be making public comment. If you can hold, I think Manager Metcalf just wanted to make clear that we received a letter. That is a public comment letter, so you can address that when the mayor or when the chair of this planning and zoning board calls for public comment if you wish to discuss as a board first.
That's what
That's
they
a
said.
public comment, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Right, and I do have it here, so we will make sure that if he has any questions or comments, we'll take those as he's live on Zoom now, and I have it in front of me as well. Okay? Righty, so if there's any other questions or comments that council has at this time? Okay. Councilman Smith, then Councilwoman Green, and then
I'll wait up to
McConnell.
him.
Okay?
I don't know, and I'm going to direct this to staff, since we have a copy of this letter that's through another Schrader resident. I want to make sure, maybe not particular, but at least give the attendees tonight at some point an opportunity to see the same letter if you have not. It's kind of do a housekeeping.
Councilman, would you speak directly to your mic, please, because for me and for the people who are listening.
Councilwoman Green, I was just doing a little housekeeping. I was directing my question to staff in reflection to the letter by Mr. Schrader. And I wanted to make sure that the attendee that's here tonight at least get an opportunity to see the same letter. That's all I was saying.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Councilman.
Midi, before we go to the next.
Yes, sir, thank you. And if I may, I understand that the person who drafted the letter is also on the Zoom, so they may make verbal public comment as well. So just be aware you could hear directly from them when public comment is addressed.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I do have some comments that I'd like to make. And praying that everyone understands the focus of my concern. My concern is for the betterment of our community. And as most of you know, I don't live in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood, but I am concerned about the Bryn Mawr neighborhood. I am concerned about what happens in all parts of town, and I think as a council person, that's my duty. Not to just be concerned about the neighborhood that I live in, to make sure my neighborhood has all the special qualities that I want my neighbor to have. I think that would be an unjust move for me as a council person. I should be concerned about each one of you and each one of those in Cavalier Shores, Hampton Court, as well as the Hill section. So my comments come from an overall concern. If you recall the previous meeting, my comment was about the flow of traffic and how safe it would be for our community. And I have found some information that reassures me a bit that the flow of traffic has been deeply studied, gravely considered, and some adjustments have been made. And I appreciate the concession that the developer pointed out already. And I know there's more information that some of these residents were not here for the previous meeting. They may not know all the details that some know. Some may have misinformation. So I want to see if you can give a little bit more of a synopsis of what we're here to talk about, so that those who are here are not in the dark.
Sir, absolutely. We have Chris Hagan, our transportation engineer. He is here. We have some slides that will kind of help give a pictorial of what the traffic flow is going to look like. And in addition to, we'll go ahead and talk about the improvements that we're doing on 45th Street to not only accommodate our traffic, but above and beyond. And so I'll let Chris go ahead and speak to that. And And if, again, if there's, if that generates any questions, we're happy to answer any questions that anyone may have or clarify anything. So this way there's a complete understanding of what the improvements are.
Good evening, for the record, I'm Chris Hagan with Finley Warren Associates, a consultant on behalf of the applicant here. And Vice Mayor Johnson, if I can understand your question, was it primarily also to give just an overall background for some of the folks who weren't here, so we walk through a little bit about the project itself?
Yes, what
I'd
is
be
it?
happy to do that as well. So if we can back up to the first slide that shows the site plan on an aerial, we can just give a sense of what the project is. We'll try not to go too in-depth because we've discussed this at length at the previous hearing, but just to give a Cliff Notes version, this is the site that's just kind of northwest of the highlight site. It's on the south side of the CSX tracks, the very kind of northwest corner of town. It's currently vacant, triangular piece, or there were a couple of structures on the property, but primarily vacant. And what's proposed is a community of 162 residential units. And we've gone through and looked at the access, the ways that we'd be able to get cars in and out of the property. It's kind of stuck because it doesn't border directly on any road, and you've got the railroad on one side of it as well. So the ways to get in and out are limited. So what the plan has is a sort of a loop internal to the community, and there's one way in and out of the property at the southwest corner of the site. That road connection connects to West Place, which today does not connect all the way down to 45th Street, but instead it stops, even though there was a right-of-way that has existed for a long time that showed that West Place was planned to connect to 45th Street. This went through review at Palm Beach County, at the Palm Beach County Traffic Division, like it's required to, and in the course of that review, Palm Beach County came up with a number of improvements that they required us to make to 45th Street. So if I can go to that slide. So first, this is now showing West Place connecting down to 45th Street, and you can see items number 1 through 4 on there. Number 1 is connecting West Place down to 45th Street, because that doesn't connect today. The second is that over at 45th Street and Congress, we would lengthen the westbound left turn lanes at 45th Street for Congress Avenue. So if you're traveling on 45th Street going toward the west, going toward I-95, those left turn lanes will now be lengthened by this project. The third thing is that the median on 45th Street will be changed. That's very close to West Place. And today it's what we call a full opening, which allows traffic to go and to make all movements there at that median. It lines up with Embarcadero Drive on the south side of the road. That's going to be changed so that you can make a left into Embarcadero Drive from 45th Street, but you will no longer be able to make a left out. And the county required that for safety reasons. So if you're coming out of Embarcadero Drive, you'll now make a right turn onto 45th Street. And the final construction improvement that we'll be making at 45th Street is at the intersection of South Place and 45th Street, we'll be lengthening the eastbound left turn lane. So people who are driving east on 45th Street, if they want to turn left on the South Place or make a U-turn, that turn lane will now be longer. As a condition of the approval initially with Palm Beach County, they had also stated that they were going to require us to also keep the connection on West Place to Boardman Avenue. And we discussed that at length at the previous hearing. There had been discussions before the previous hearing with the county. We knew that was a source of objection. We went back and forth, and the staff consultant went back and forth with the county. Ultimately, the county came back with a compromise, which was that only outbound traffic would go to Boardman. That's what we brought to the last meeting. Again, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of concern raised by that. And so after the last meeting, we went to Palm Beach County and said that the city here, the town, has emphatically said that they were concerned about that connection. The county agreed to back away from that condition and agreed that we would, that if we make the West Place extension, it could also be blocked off from Boardman so that West Place would connect to 45th Street only, and that all traffic into and out of this site would enter. So 100% of the traffic would come on 45th Street, turn right onto West Place, come into the community. 100% of the traffic coming out will come down West Place and turn right onto 45th Street, no connection to Boardman. So that's what the county has now agreed to based on the feedback at the last council meeting, last planning and zoning meeting, we took it to them. They've agreed to that, and that's what we're bringing forward to you today.
In that regard, you're saying that the traffic will turn right coming out of West Place, turning right, I mean, they're going west.
Yes.
And if their desire is to go east, what should they do?
There are a couple of different options. One is that they would have to get over into the left turn lane and make a U-turn at Congress if they wished to do that, to head east on 45th Street. But a lot of the traffic that's going east might really be maybe trying to go south and east. So they could also, make the left at Congress and take Congress down to Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard rather than, making the U-turn there. Or if it's trying to go east or north to the east, they can make a right onto Congress, head north, go to MLK, Blue Heron, one of the other major east-west roads, and head east that way. So there are a few different options. It depends kind of if it's truly east on 45th, or maybe it's a little bit northeast or southeast, there's some of those other options available.
Okay. So basically, how many residents would be affected by this West Place established road? And I'm glad to know that it will not be a direction of traffic going into Boardman or out of Boardman. But there will be some who will be affected by this change.
Yeah, I believe there are 2 homes on West Place that have driveways on West Place today. Currently, those, because West Place did not connect down to 45th Street, currently those homes use Boardman to exit. Instead, their access to Boardman will be cut off, and they'll also be on West Place going to and from 45th Street. So it's a total of 2 homes that have driveways on West Place today.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I do have some more points. I don't know if this is time to go through all of them now, Mayor.
There are questions for the applicant, or?
There are some that are considerations that we need to make, yes.
Okay. Solely if there are direct questions for the applicant, which is where we are now.
No, I don't have, they're not
Okay,
direct questions for the applicant.
Okay, then we'll come back. I think there were some specific questions. We had both McConnell and Councilwoman Green.
You ready for me?
Yes.
Mr. Metcalf, maybe I'm the only one that's lost, so I need to ask some questions. Dante, who is Dante? I think that's your name, right? Okay, Meritage Homes came before us, and we voted on them, right?
At your last P&Z meeting,
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
If I remember, there were 3 people that voted no. Am I right?
Actually, there were 3 people that voted yes on the motion to deny.
To deny. There were 3 people voted not to deny, and 1 voted to approve, the mayor, right? So why is he back? Why are we listening to him again?
Because he has the right to resubmit, amend his plan and resubmit, and the attorney at the previous meeting said that, he could either walk away or he could resubmit an amended plan, and that's where we're at tonight.
If I understood, maybe I'm just lost. So this person was denied, and he's coming back resubmitting under the same name
That's correct.
after we turned him down. So what he did is he changed the road. So then all he had to do is, we say no, okay, you change the road, and he comes back, and then he'll say, we're gonna try it again. That's what we're doing.
Under an amended plan, yes, ma'am.
So who is Watman? Who are they?
That's that's Meritage Planning Firm. That's the planning firm for Meritage.
Now, well, let me ask you this. Why is it, when you first started, if I didn't know any better, I'm assuming that you're saying the county gave you permission to do this, so the way you are making the presentation as if they gave you permission to do something that we said no. Am I right?
No.
Mayor
No.
to the applicant.
Whoever answers the question. We denied it, so he goes before the county and tells the county, we don't want to do these roads, we're going to do it this way, so do you approve? So the county says yes. So he comes back to us and say, even though you denied it, we go before the county and they approved it, so what? So what does that mean? Explain that to me.
Certainly.
So again, this is Chris Hagan from Finley Home Associates. One of the components that's required for us to come before you is a TPS approval from
No, that's not what I asked you. Let me ask the question again. You were denied the first time, right?
The prior application.
You were denied the first time, right?
The prior application was.
Yes, sir. You were denied. So you go to the county and you change the plans because you changed the roads. And the county approved, you're shaking your head, no, then I'm lost.
The county amended the TPS approval that they had previously granted and took away one of their conditions. That's what the county changed. The county has authority for the TPS approval. And they issued it previously with conditions. They've now issued a new approval by removing one of the conditions they previously required.
So in other words, the approval, your presentation is based on the approval of whom? This council or the county?
We're coming here to get your approval tonight, to request your approval tonight.
Based on
A change.
the road?
And access.
I don't know anything about the road. You didn't, I don't know about anything. Maybe Ms. Johnson does. I don't know anything about the road. I haven't seen it. I'm just listening to it now. And I'd like to ask, before we go any further, because I know I have a lot of questions, and I'd just like to ask the question one, and giving her no respect, but there were people that Vice Mayor Johnson knew about the road. Matter of fact, we thought what I was being told in the community, that, oh, he's going through the Don King property, and that I'm only telling you what Ms. Johnson admitted in our last meeting, that she had been, I guess, lobbying. You were not here. You were not here, sir.
I'm sorry, just a point of order, okay?
Beg your
You have the
pardon?
floor.
She lobbied, she went around in the community lobbying the residents of the community, asking will they approve it if this road that he's referring to is used. I brought the question up in the last meeting, and the mayor said I didn't say it. She said it was me.
Okay,
So
Okay.
I'm trying to explain
Understood.
something why I don't know anything about the road. The only people who knew about the road were the people in the community.
well, I think,
I'm sorry.
ahead.
Just before we do, I want to make sure she's finished with her statement, because I think
No, I'm
there's some
not.
items to be corrected for the record, but we'll let you finish.
Beg your pardon?
No, we're going to let you finish with your statement. No, you have the floor, so I'm letting
Okay,
you
I'm
finish.
sorry. You asked me something?
no, ma'am.
What I'm saying is the only people who knew about this road you are referring to I don't know about the other council people, was Vice Mayor Johnson and the people in the community and the county. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting up here, and this is what I am looking at now, and I've never known a presentation to be made like that. Now, Mr. Dante, whether you didn't know about it or not, it was as if she was lobbying for the developer, and that's the way I saw it. And that I made the statement. I didn't say I made the statement, because she was lobbying for you. She was actually asking people to sign the paper for you, and I have a big problem. That is why I'm asking the town manager about this entire project, because when we discussed it, you told me Dante was not approved, and he's bringing the project back again under a new name.
Okay.
That's not what I said.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry, at this point, and we're gonna let you come back, but let's clear at least that part of it. Before we get to the legal, as to why they're back, I think it would be better, clearer understood by those in attendance, both on Zoom as well, that if we allow the rebuttal by, because it's been alleged, true or not, I'm not taking a position, that a council member lobbied, so we'll allow that council member to address that. Then we'll allow the town manager to address the other part of the conversation, then we'll go to legal.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask you
We're gonna
something?
come back to you.
No,
we're gonna come back.
no disrespect, sir.
We're
Let me say
gonna
this.
come back, we need to clear
That's
some
what
things.
that's what the statement I want to make.
Okay.
Whether I am trying to get some sense of it. I'm not as smart
And that's
as
what
you.
we're endeavoring to
And
do
I
with this.
find the problem, sir, when I'm trying to understand something, and you cut the council people off and say, no, you wait a minute, you wait till you do it. I don't think that's right,
No,
Mr. Mayor, and
Councilwoman Green.
and you're doing it
Councilwoman
again.
Green, what I said was, we're gonna come right
Why
back to you.
do you have to cut-
I said we're gonna come right back to you. I've given you the floor. You've made
But
some statements.
why
and you've
do you
made a-
have to tell me?
Point of order, Councilwoman Green. You've made some statements, and so what we're gonna do is clear the statements first, and we're gonna come back to you. That's on the record. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna allow Vice Mayor Johnson to clarify. You want clarification, so she's gonna clarify the allegations that you've made.
Sir,
Okay,
you're
Vice
out of
Mayor-
order. You're
Vice
only
Mayor-
the mayor. We are all
Vice
up
Mayor-
here of the same
Vice Mayor,
power. You don't
Vice
cut
Mayor
me
Johnson.
off.
I'll wait for Mrs. Green to listen attentively to what I'm saying. I don't want you to be misunderstood. Clearly, I will say to you, I am not a lobbyist, and I don't lobby anyone. I only asked what I am to do. I'm responsible for all of these citizens in Magnolia Park and make a decision that I feel is best and in favor of all citizens. So I'm not going to sit down and just take somebody else says. I want to hear what they have to say.
Mary's
But no, you may not speak until I finish.
Oh!
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. At this point, I'm sorry, I'm gonna call a point of order. We are going to have a civil discourse here. We are going to have that, or we won't. Okay, so we're gonna ask that as a person is speaking, that we respect the person speaking. Okay, so Vice Mayor Johnson, you have the floor, then we'll go back to Councilwoman Green if there's something that she needs to clarify if you misstate something, okay? We're gonna come to the audience as soon as, but we wanna make sure you have clear information prior to coming to you, okay? Ready?
My point that I made, even when the vote was taken before, had nothing to do about whether this project was good or not. My point was, is this a safe way of travel? That was my point. And that was my question to the developers to clarify that point. I thank them for doing that and even make a consideration for what the residents were commenting on as far as some of those roads of travel. Now, when I spoke to residents in this town, I asked them, what would be a win-win for you in this community? I asked them what would work. I told them I had an idea of another possible access that may cost some more money, but we'd have to look into it. And I asked if they liked that idea. That was all. I had nothing about West Place in my discussion with them. My discussion did not include anything about a road. This West Place Road has been discussed since the very beginning, over a year ago, as we talked about this project, West Place was the road for inward and outward access. This has always been the conversation with this project. This is nothing new tonight. My only idea was a new idea of having maybe an additional access that would give eastward travel out of the east end of the project behind the Don King property, which may reduce some of the travel, some of the traffic, to reduce the congestion. That was my concern, and I asked if the residents thought it was a good idea if we tried another way so we could reduce some of the traffic. That was what I did. I didn't ask anybody to vote yea or nay. I asked for what would help to make this a win-win for our community.
Okay. Matt Kath, and then we're going to come back to Councilwoman Green.
And Ms. Rain, just for clarification, you had asked me on Friday evening why this was being done under a different name.
Thank you.
And I stated to you, it's not being done under a different name. The Watman Group is their planning firm, and as far as I know, this ad, which we distributed to everyone in the neighborhood, that ad is almost identical to the previous ad, which indicated the Watman Group. And I believe that's the name that was put on all the applications. And on my citizen information on the other side indicated Meritage. So I never implied that they were using a different name. You had asked me why they were using a different name, and I said that they were not. So.
Okay. Councilwoman Green?
Again, I'm as confused as the neighbors. That's why I hope that we up here begin to ask the residents what they want before we do anything. That's our number one. Now let me ask you a question before I am again tell me I don't have permission to speak.
That was never said.
What road are we talking about? That road is going through. Let me tell you what my residents are telling me, because I don't get information from up here. I get it from my residents. I was told that was the Don King property. Am I right?
No, this is West Place.
I was asking the town manager.
Okay, I answered it for you.
Who told me it was
What road are you looking to construct?
West Place is an existing town right-of-way that has been platted for 40-plus years. That is the road that we're using to access our property. That is the only road that we're using to access our property.
Does it have any relations or any way tied into Don King property?
No, ma'am, it doesn't. It is located right there to the west.
They are showing it.
Wait, I'm talking to Mr. Metcalf. You don't remember what I said to you when we were discussing this, and I said, Don King doesn't even like us.
I remember the conversation now.
Okay.
You had asked me something in regard to the vice mayor, and there was a concern that there had been a construction company on West Place, and I think you were drawing a connection between the vice mayor speaking to residents about the Don King project.
No, I'm talking about the conversation you and I had.
Okay.
Because when you said that it was going through the Don King property, and I made statement to you, and I quote.
I'm sorry, just a point of order. Point of order, if we could, right, we're going to have to give everyone the opportunity. We know this is important, but we want to make sure everyone can hear the conversations. Okay, Ken?
Ms. Green, I was just simply saying that was the vice mayor's idea, and that might have
Say it again, that's the vice mayor's idea of this road.
for going through Mr. King's property.
Thank you very much. I didn't know anything about it. I know I didn't.
Well, that's
And,
the
okay,
discussion.
this road is the vice mayor's idea, number one. Now, how the residents find out, how did they find out, and I didn't find out, is the point that I was making, number one. The
Mr.
only
Mayor.
person,
Okay.
Can we-
Amity, I'm sorry.
Can I just give you clarification, Councilwoman Green?
when I finish, if everybody give me permission.
I just want to make sure
do
that misinformation is not stated. The application before you is only for West Place connection.
I am referring to the conversation that I had with the town manager.
But I just want to make
So
clear
what-
that that's not what's before you tonight. There's
I
no-
am telling you
Okay,
what
let's-
the conversation I had with the town manager.
Understood. I just want to make sure you understand that it's only West Place. That's the
I
application before you.
understand
Thank you.
Okay, I
All right, so
understand,
noted.
I'm not being disrespectful. But when you cut me off, I don't say something unless, and matter of fact, I specifically said to you when I got home that I don't want the minutes to change after the vice mayor publicly stated that this is what she did. Did I not say I don't want the minutes to change?
I believe you made a.
That was why.
reference to minutes.
Okay,
Thank you.
alrighty. Okay, all right, thanks so much. Mehdi, I'm sorry.
That was it. I just want to make sure that everyone in the room is clear that the application before you has been revised. As was discussed at the previous meeting, the applicant was here, the developer was here, his consultants were here. There was discussions, a lot of opposition from residents, a lot of discussion about traffic. He is certainly within his right to revise his master land use plan, resubmit it to the town based on the concerns raised by both the Planning and Zoning Board and by residents to have the new master land use plan heard, which is what you are doing here tonight.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, Mehdi, we appreciate it. Alrighty. Okay. All right, other questions or comments? McConnell, I'm sorry, you had a question or comment?
What have you changed on the entrance to West Place from the last time you were here? Now, I know you were showing some stuff, it's kind of hard to distinguish. I mean, did you lengthen turn lanes?
Hang on one second. I have, if I may, I have some copies there, but what I can do is I approach it. Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a one, we'll share it.
This is a copy of so this is West Place right now.
I'm sorry, Dante?
This is the
I think it was on the screen as well, so if you could have your assistant, there we go. That way everyone can see as you're explaining.
So, bring up that blow up, there you go. So, what we've done is what you see over to the right,
Yeah.
that cul-de-sac there. No, Doug, the other one? There you go. So, if you can just use the highlighter on that. So, essentially right now, that's West Place and Boardman, the intersection. What we're proposing to do is to close off Boardman so that this way, when you're on Boardman, you can't access West Place, and for West Place, you can't access Boardman Avenue. During our last hearing, when we were here, it was very evident that the residents did not want our traffic driving through on Boardman. Although it was de minimis traffic, I mean, I think it was like 17 trips per day, we heard loud and clear that they did not want any of our traffic using Boardman. Again, and I can have my transportation engineer come back up and just clarify. However, we went back to Palm Beach County and can continuously keep working with them. This was a condition that they put on us to where we had to discharge traffic there. They came back and gave us another alternative. And finally, we went back and just said, look, we've come up with, here's our data. We believe that, our data supports that we don't need the access onto Boardman. The residents are complaining about it, and we don't want to discharge the traffic through there. And so, working with the county, providing them additional information and a detail on what we were proposing to do, they waived the condition that we had to could discharge our traffic onto Boardman. So, in essence, what we're going to do is we're going to create a cul-de-sac there, and we're going to curve it. That green area, which is, you can see highlighted in the green, that's going to be green space there. We'll have some signage that's there, and it'll probably be, there's going to be elevated curbs so that no one could drive across it even if they wanted to.
Okay, welcome to you, Nolsa. Let's make sure if there are
Okay.
I'm
additional.
sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay, any other questions?
no.
Okay, Nolsa?
Yes, just to introduce the staff report on page 6, shows two graphics. It shows the first graphic with regard to the previous application, and graphics 2 is the current application. So there is on page 6 of the staff report a comparison. So And also, I want to read into the records the letter from our town engineer, one paragraph. The configuration of the west end of Borman proposed on the master plan will be reviewed with the preliminary site plan. So, also he's saying, this condition has been removed by Palm Beach County and the town has received email communications that confirms no connection between Borman and West Place is required by Palm Beach County Traffic Engineering. Therefore, I have no objections to the West Place connection to 45th Street. The master plan reflects this condition. So that is from the letter from Mr. Ben, the town's engineering, and then on page 6, there is a specific comparison of the Borman and West Place.
May I ask a question?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, you have a quick question? Sure.
As a council person, I guess I'm used to it, and I've been, matter of fact, the only engineer I worked on other than the county is Mangonia Park's engineer. And this is the person, to me, our engineer, the county's engineer, to me, should be the one that we are listening to when it comes to whether we want to approve the roads or traffic before somebody comes before the council telling us what the county approved. That's what I have a problem with, and I'm glad you read that. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. So with that, we have the county approving, and we also have our engineer approving. Okay. Okay. So any other council comments? And we are going to come out to the floor. We just want to make sure we have full discussion here so we don't interrupt your time. Any other questions or comments from council? Okay. And just before we do, as it relates to just going out, I think that perhaps most of you here in the attendance, if you, at the point in time that this came before us, I walked the community, so I spoke with most of all of you. If I did not, you were not at home during those times. There was we have a responsibility as council members, and I take that very seriously, to come out and provide information to you. That is part of our charge. That's part of a public service responsibility. And so information is provided so that we can get your input as to how you feel about things. We know that we live in a representative government. You elect, or persons are elected to represent your interest, but sometimes you got to get out there and speak, and so that happens. So if a council person comes out and speaks to you, you should be saying, thank you, there we go. We're getting information, we have that up. So there's nothing wrong with a council member speaking to our residents. That's our responsibility. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now, if there's nothing else, going to go to the floor. With your indulgence, I'm going to go to Mr. Schrader first, so I don't forget he's on Zoom to see if he has any questions, and then we're going to come to the floor in general. Okay? Can we have anything? I'm not able to pick it up here. Okay, he has any questions or comments, Mr. Schrader? Okay, he's there?
Mr. Schrader? Would you like to make comment to council?
Every time I touch this thing, it doesn't quite let me stay online.
Well, you're good at the moment.
Can you, okay, so I just flipped the screens and it says my microphone is unmuted. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Will the mayor and the board permit you to read my letter? Mr. Mayor, my name is Scott Schrader. My mom and I are over at 5450 West Place. I am having difficulty with my vote
Okay, certainly. We'll have Amity, I'm sorry.
And-
Just before we do, Amity?
Yes, sir, thank you. You can read the letter, you have the 3 minutes, so you can read into the record what you can get in for 3 minutes.
Okay. Ready? Okay, so you may begin.
And again, this is from Colonel Scott Schrader. Dear elected officials of the town of Mangonia Park, as a property owner in Mangonia Park, I respectfully ask of you to deny the application for the planned unit development, PUD, townhouses proposed by Meritage Home Incorporated. As you are aware, our Code of Ordinances envisions a safe community where our property values and our citizens are wholly protected. This development violates the word and intent of our ordinances and the vision of our elected officials. On 17 December 2019, I wrote a formal letter opposing this development because it would add to the unacceptable violent crime rates and add a surge of traffic into my neighborhood. I also oppose the development because it will decrease my property's value and the property values throughout my neighborhood. My position has not changed. At today's meeting, I am formally asking whether an independent, officially certified traffic study has been completed in my Mangonia Park neighborhood.
No.
And he's quoting 12B, Plan Unit Development Appendix A, Zoning Code of Ordinances, Mangonia Park A. Purpose and intent addresses the vision of the town's elected officials. To do this properly, an independent traffic study must be carried out within the scope of our elected officials' duties and obligations. A correctly conducted traffic study will clearly show current vehicular and foot traffic, its makeup, and provide a comparison to future traffic that would result from construction of this proposed development. In addition, who independently certified the traffic study, and was it presented as support documentation to the town's mayor or to any elected or appointed official? I am also asking what specific analysis was used to determine this development's impact on property values, who wrote the study, who independently certified the study, and whether the study takes into account crime rates, traffic congestion, and other predictable elements of an analysis related to the quality of life, health, and safety. In addition, was the study presented as support documentation to the town's mayor or to any elected or appointed official? Your purpose is not just the proper fiscal stability of our town, but also to serve the citizens' needs by ensuring adequate land use and growth, protection against crime, health and safety, and safeguarding our property values. This is a broad, overreaching set of written beliefs that bind all underscore decisions related to our town citizens. You are here to be advocates for our citizens, not just administrators of the rules, but to make decisions within the guidelines clearly set forth in our town's code of ordinances. To do so, our town deserves a better solution than this development. You have been dedicated and stalwart defenders of Mangonia Park for many years. I ask again of you to be resolute in your defense of our town. Now you are faced with another difficult decision. Are you going to uphold your morals, values, and principles in defense of our citizens? Or are you going to compromise your integrity and character on the potential, quotations, financial gain this project may or may not bring to our community? I am also requesting that this letter be entered into the official record. Thank you for your principled consideration and service to the town. Very respectfully, Scotty Schrader, Colonel, U.S. Army, retired. 5450 West Place, Mangonia Park.
Thank you so much. Thanks for reading it into the record, Ken. And copies for the record. Mr. Schrader has been shared with the attendees, so they have a copy of that as well. So what we'll do before we go to the next person, we'll now go to the floor, the actual floor. If someone wants to come to answer, if someone wants to come and answer the question as to whether a study has been done, a traffic study, we'll give you that opportunity because that was one of the tenets of his letter.
Good evening again, for the record, Chris Hagan with Kinley Horn Associates. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Florida. One thing is we do abide by a code of ethics and responsibilities and that it's a professional duty and code, and that's what we abide by. We did perform the study. Now, we are hired by the applicant to perform the study. However, the other thing is when we conduct the study, it was submitted to Palm Beach County and to the town of Mangonia Park. So not only did we conduct the study, but the town's engineering consultant, who you heard his review and findings, thoroughly reviewed the study and prepared a determination of whether he agreed or disputed the facts and findings of our study, and indicated in his letter he did not object to that.
Okay.
Third, it was reviewed by Palm Beach County, by professional engineers on Palm Beach County's staff. They issued the TPS approval letter confirming that they also agreed with and verified the findings of our study. So not only did we conduct the study, but it was reviewed by two separate professional licensed engineers in addition, and their verifications have been provided on the record.
Okay. Thank you so much. So the study was done and thoroughly reviewed. So what we're going to do now, if you want to maintain your position there, just in case there's some additional questions, we're now out to the floor. So if there's any comments, or keep in mind we have a 3-minute limit. So if there's any of our residents who would like to have comment on this item, we'll take those now. And we're going to ask that when you go to the podium, just state your name and address for the record so we'll know who was speaking.
My name is Christina Perez, and we own a house right when you come in on Dublin Avenue. It's a yellow house right there. Everybody knows it. They can use it. We purchased our house about 2 years ago. I'm a realtor too. And I'm here today because I have a big concern. As a realtor, our values of our property go down. Why? Because when we conduct our CMA, okay, on the property values, if you're going to sell your house, I have to go 1 mile around for the houses that have been sold a month or either 6 months. So if they come with a house that is going to cost about $200,000 or 150, because you're talking about low-income families that are kind of money there, our property value will go down. No matter what. A CM has to go by one house, one sold in 6 months within 1 mile. That's going to kill us. Another thing, we're talking about 162 houses. Every family that will come and buy in there, you're not thinking about it, that it's going to be 2 cars in a family. So we're talking about multiply that, 324 cars. Then we have a problem.
I'm sorry, she has the floor.
So I'm sorry.
She need to hear?
Okay, so she can really hear. Don't turn your head because I'm talking with the resident.
Every
Talk straight to the mic, they can hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
First time home buyers means people that are going to come with a 3.5 down payment. Okay? So another problem that we have is the school. We're talking about families that come with at least two children from age maybe from 4 to 9. So they're going to use West Park and Riviera Beach, right? That school is only allowed to have 63 children in there. If we have 324, right, 2 children, where are you going to put those children? Where are you going to put those children? That's your responsibility. So that means somebody's investing in a house, paying a mortgage for 30 years, and then the child wants to go first year to West Riviera, and they're going to tell them, we have a waiting list for 3 years. You think we're being honest? Me as a realtor, I have to tell everybody's going to go and buy a house there or anywhere. I have to tell the people there will be a house, yes, beautiful house, but you have a train going by behind. You will not have for 3 years seats for your children to go. It's my responsibility because I was violating the statute 475. So it's your responsibility, and I hope we have a city charter. And you're not telling everybody what's a city charter. That's amendment number 1 that was created in 2019. Pass it on to everybody, and then we will say no to this.
Okay. All righty. Well, thanks. Just a quick question for you, and I appreciate your comments, and just to educate me as well. What is the average value of the homes in Bryn Mawr? Just on average, the average?
290.
290? Okay.
Last one was sold 290.
290? Okay. All righty, and what are the sale price for the Enclave?
Over 300. And actually, I have a correction, and if I may, before when she's done, I'll read.
Even worse, the son is that they have probably an income of at least $60,000 a year. You lie to these people, you are displacing to them the consequences of the schools,
Okay.
and the
Well,
traffic.
okay, well,
224,
okay.
we're not counting visitors in there.
okay, well, let me just do this, and I appreciate your comments.
And you know we have a lot of accidents right
Right,
at the
okay, but let me just,
And we have done anything.
right, let me just do this, because one of the things that we want to do is make sure, everyone here wants, is accurate information. So we haven't shared any information as a council as it relates to, we haven't, this council has.
My job as a realtor to Miami Herald, and let it know we
Yes.
have to do not.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate it. And that's why I was asking that information, because.
Let the
yes.
residents speak.
Councilwoman Green, can you please?
No, you let the people
She has a 3-minute limit. We let her go for 4, because we want everyone to talk. What we don't need is to have an uncivil meeting, okay? All righty, so the next person who would like to speak? Okay. Well, that's why I was asking, to get information, to make an educated decision, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, okay. All righty, anyone else? Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cedric Quinn. I find it very disturbing about what's going on. For example, you've got Don King. Nobody's tried to, get Don King back on the table, do a deal with him. Squeeze all that stuff back there, and you got all this space. You can put that place you're trying to put back there 5 times over here. It's just disturbing. You said 164 units in the back there. I don't understand. I haven't heard anything about, well, we're going to add 164 police to the department. I don't know how many police work in this department, 15, 20? Have you guys figured that out? There's cars being broken already with just the neighborhood we have. So have you guys figured out how many people are going to be walking through the neighborhood? Have you figured that out? You think nobody's going to walk 164 units? Nobody's going to walk all night? Who's moving back there? Are you guys going to screen these guys? Who's moving back there? Anybody? Who's got $300,000, $250,000 in that neighborhood? I tell you the truth, what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to build it and sell it. Can you stop them from once they build it? Can you stop them from selling it? I don't think you can do that. But if they want to sell it, they can sell it. I think the plan is just not figured out. It's figured out for some people's pockets, I can tell you that. It's figured out for some people to make some real money real fast and get out. You guys are big money. They're big money, and you say the residents have the voice. I think that's all we have is the voice. Do we really get to say it? Do we really get do our opinion, our voice, does it really mean something? Well, I think it just come up to this board here. 3 of y'all say no, 5 of y'all say yeah. I think the residents just being heard, and no further than that. So I don't think this thing has really been thought out completely. I really don't. We're going to cut off, and it's not going to go down board. Well, all that sounds good until you put it in effect. All that sounds good. So many families going to move back. What about the people going to move in with the family? What about the 100 people going to move in that you're not counting? You really think they're not going to move family members in? You really think that? Oh, we're going to come out this way. We're going to come out that way. Well, once these guys, they get approved and they build back there, and then, we do have a problem now. Guess what? It's a little too late. And what about the sheriff department? 164 units. How many more officers going to add to the department? Who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for the red light? Why won't they try to talk to Don King like they keep talking to you guys and keep coming back up? Talk to Don King. He got all the space over there to do what they want to do it 5 times, 6 times. Why you just won't try to bring him back on board? Just try. He don't live over there. Don King is a businessman.
Okay.
He's a businessman.
Okay.
The right dollar, the right deal will happen.
Okay.
These guys got money for what it seems like. I think this has been thought out very well.
Okay.
For whose interest?
All righty.
For whose right?
Okay, and we'll address it, and that's a legitimate concerns, we'll appreciate, and we'll address some things, that we just want to hear from everybody. Okay. All righty, yes. Good evening.
My name is Lisa Quince. What I would like to know what are you going to do with those two homes that are sitting directly?
Talking to Mike,
Okay.
Ms.
What are you
Davis.
going to do with the two homes that are sitting directly from your point of entrance and exit? What are you going to do with those two homes?
I don't own them.
I know that, I'm quite aware of that. The question is, what are you going to just block these people out? I can't vision you block off Boardman. There's two houses in the city there. What are you going to do with those people homes?
Well, ma'am, I will probably defer to the town's planner.
You should have done that already, like we was like 3, 4 months, 5 months into this, I mean, are you kidding me? Like when are you gonna first to the house owner? Cause those are my neighbors, and I'm concerned about what, how are you gonna block them off? What are you actually gonna do with these people, tie them out, or just block them out?
They're not being blocked out. We're actually building a brand new road for them.
Can you show me the plan in black and white? Because that's better than what you're saying. Because if you're gonna block these two people out, go back to the other screen, not this one, with the road where it's clear, you clearly see that. If those two homes were sitting there, I live on Boardman, and those two homes either gonna have to be torn down, they're gonna either have to be blocked out or bought out. There's no other option. I just would like to know what you're gonna do. Let me know. I'm gonna go have a seat.
Okay. All righty. Okay, and I have the question here for you, Ms. Quince. Okay, yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, please.
Hi, my name is Polly Willis. I live at 1732 Boardman Avenue. That's the last house on Boardman. And I agree with Lisa because the guy just said that on his traffic, when they're going to redo West Place, the two houses that's on West Place, they're not going to be able to turn down Boardman. Like Ms. Schrader used to go out past my house, she go back out to South Place. I don't know the other people in the end, they just moved there about a year and a half, I don't know those people. But Ms. Schrader and her sister come down, they make the U-turn across the cul-de-sac, they go out. If they put West Place, block it off, they're gonna have to go to 45th Street and make a right. And, cause you can't go back east. And on top of that, there's no way 162 units, like the other lady was saying, with 2 cars per home is 300 cars easy. 324. And that is just too many cars. There's already a traffic jam there early in the morning when people trying to get to work. And then in the afternoon, they're trying to get back home from work. You're backed up almost to McDonald's sometimes from 30 and 5 o'clock. So it's just too much traffic. And I mean, it would be nice if they could put another exit like Cedric was saying, talk to John King, and maybe put it out going towards the back or going towards the apartment somewhere. But that area that we live in is just too tight of a space. No matter how long they make turning lanes, add 20 feet to a turning lane going east, add 20 feet to a turning lane going west, that's still not going to solve the problem on 45th Street. It's just too much congestion. And you can hear accidents, bam, all the time. People running, like they're just running the light.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Ms. Willis?
It's just not feasible for that area unless they find another egress or get in and get out. It's just that little spot on West Place just cannot hold that many people on 45th Street. It just can't.
Okay, all righty. Okay, thanks. Okay, any other resident who would like to speak?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Owens, I live at 5301 Lakeshore Drive. I'm concerned about why are we here again with Councilman Green. First of all, I would like to, I thought we had witnessed the rest. about our community. When we was here before, at the council meeting that we had, at the hearing, I thought we put this to rest, that the people in Broadmoor didn't want this subdivision, whatever you want to call it, in our community. We built homes in here because we like the residents, we like our area. I built a home in here in 2009. There hasn't been a home built in 40 years when I built one. I love this community, that's why I built it here. I'm asking a question now. When the traffic study, when you stand on South Place, when we come out, we're not able to make a left turn, right? Anymore, that's what they're saying. Not good. We're able to still make a left turn and a right turn, and come out of South Place, that's what you're saying? Okay. All right, okay, that I was confused on that. Now, you said that, and I'm gonna ask each council member personally a question. Why was this equipment in the back for building the roads when none of the residents knew about it? When a resident had to come and tell us that some equipment was back there. Who put it back there? Who authorized to put the equipment back there to build roads for a subdivision and we don't know anything about it?
Okay.
Okay, how many people here now live in Broadmoor from this community? How many people live from other places know about our community back here?
Okay.
She said she went around to everybody, she's concerned about the whole community. I don't see it.
Okay. Alrighty.
You said you went around to everybody.
I didn't say everybody.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. I'm writing all of your concerns and questions. We'll address everything, but we want to give a resident, your time is paused. We want to make sure we give residents their 3 minutes to speak. Yes. Oh, no. I just paused it for you. So, okay, so you have another minute.
Council, we would let you people to look out for us. Our home values and everything else.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, just.
I'm going to ask you a question. Councilman Smith, we support you. You live in this community. You said that you're concerned about the homeless. You want the money back into the homeless. There's all kind of agencies in Palm Beach County for you to feed people. That had nothing to do with this community. We don't want these people in our community.
Okay.
We understand that.
Okay. Alrighty.
How do we have to say it?
Okay.
We don't want you in the community.
Okay. Alrighty, I have it here for you, your concern as well as your charge to each of us. We're going to answer that as soon as we get all of your comments, okay? Alrighty, we're still at the floor. Okay.
My name's David Johnson. I live at 5300 Jeffrey Avenue. I don't know what these traffic engineers that we have sitting here have done for a traffic study. How our engineer and these engineers can get with Palm Beach County traffic engineers and approve something that they're going to do here, or that they are planning to do, would not be approved by the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration. It's an absolute shame of what you're trying to do here. You're going to cut off two people that already live there and are able to come down and get out of here safely. Now you're going to cut them off so that Mr. Schrader and his family can't get in or out safely. The extra lanes that you're making will not work. It's a traffic nightmare right now, and if this was put in front of the Highway Traffic Safety Administration, it would be denied. And Palm Beach County would be made to look like it does. And I spent over 24 years in traffic accident investigation and vehicle homicide investigation. So what's going to happen here is going to be a travesty, and it's all on your shoulders, every last one of you. The best thing you can do, this was denied once, it should be denied again, and should not be allowed to come here again. That place 38 years ago when I moved here was originally zoned as 1 acre ranchettes. This council went and changed it from 1 acre ranchettes to half acre properties. Now you've allowed these people to buy it all up and make it one big mess. It should not be allowed. It's not right. And it's unsafe. It's unsafe for the people that live there now, and it will be even worse. Because once that's built, I'll guarantee you, 50% of the people that are living there are going to be Section 8 people. And then you're going to wonder where the money's going to come from for the police extra that you need, plus the increased budget for fire rescue in the West Palm Beach is going to change. You might want to think before you approve doing this, look around and maybe, just maybe, take a chance and raise our property taxes a little bit. If you're so afraid that we can't make a budget. You need to think about it. And if you're smart, every last one of you will deny this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Okay.
Good evening, my name is Carlos Mark, from the North Texas.
Good evening.
To echo some of the concerns that Mr. Johnson brought out, your concern is usually like the health, safety, and welfare of citizens.
Could you speak louder, Carla?
Your concern is usually the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens. All of the citizens. This project, as proposed, is going to be a nightmare, as Mr. Johnson said. Just in a couple days span, going down 45th Street, traffic is all blocked up when there's an accident. The second day, I'm coming down 45th, I'm heading east, there's a black Lexus on the sidewalk heading west. So somebody has hit that person trying to make a U-turn, and they're up on the sidewalk. So already we have problems, and I am very concerned. And I'm not trying to sound morbid, but if this project is approved, one of us will either be dead or know somebody that will have died in some type of fatal accident on this road. And that's what all I'm going to think about. Think about rolling up your sleeves. Let's look at the budget. Let's see where, if this town is hemorrhaging money, let's plug it up. Let's look at ways to raise money. Hey, I'll pay more taxes. I'm willing to do that, to save that neighborhood. And I'm just asking you, please, we're your neighbors. Look out for us.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, anyone else? If that hasn't spoken? Oh, yes, we have a hand in the back. Good evening. Okay.
And things right now are not good, because I came down, Congress, and there were 4 police cars already, because somebody was trying to cross the street, and got hit. Okay, there was no way that an ambulance could have even come, because the cars wouldn't stop. They would just go and go, people keep dying. If you have a fire, that's it. Fire department is going to come. Why are you there with them? With all the crazy people, and they're not going to care about anybody's property, cars, anything else, because they're not going to be able to get down to where they want to put the road, because it's going to be blocked off, which means that North Lake Shore, Gorman, and anybody else is going to be in trouble. I've known these people so long, that's my arm. But I want to let you know that not only do we have to worry about the car, you will have children from kindergarten to college. That means school buses. School buses going in, to kindergarten, first, elementary, junior high school, college. Going in, going out. Anytime We're not gonna be able to go that way, go that way to school, but here comes Gordon. We'll have to go out to that way. Other way, they have to go all the way up to the stoplight, over the bridge, make a U-turn in order to come back, in order to take the kids to school. Otherwise, those buses have no way of getting out. And this stoplight down here, it ain't worth a bean, because they go right through it, the light's red, and they're flying. You can sit there, you don't care. And then when they do stop, they walk the whole intersection. So that makes it hard for everybody else. I don't have too much to say. I have to get my point across. I think we're making mistakes. If I'm wrong, God bless you all. Have a happy
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Chandler. We appreciate it. Okay, anyone else who hasn't spoken? Any resident who hasn't spoken? Thank you so much. Okay, so what we're going to do so that council has an opportunity, we're going to go to committee in just a moment. And Ken, I'm sorry, we have some more. My apologies.
Any comments from Zoom?
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, and we'll wait the 40-second delay to see if there's anybody else.
Go ahead, give your name and address, sir.
Hello? My name is my address is 1612 Crandon Avenue. I've been at this property since actually Valentine's Day. And what attracted me to this neighborhood is the small community, light traffic, kind of quaint, you know? And that's what I like about it, and I would love for it to remain like that. In reference to, it's simple math, 162 units times 2, it's simple math. The ladies already expressed it as well as some of the gentlemen. And the health, the safety, and the wellness of the community is very important. We have young children. I see a lot of kids in the community, and I think that's very important. I'm not too familiar with the elementary thing that's going on, but since I work with the school district, I can find out. And that'll be just another caveat for us to throw into the pot to show and prove that we don't need that in our community. And I've only been here since, like I said, Valentine's Day, and I agree with all the people. And I support them and concur with everything that they say wholeheartedly. Now, I know that there are some council members that live in this community, but no one else does. If you don't actually live in this community, how can you really care? You get what I'm saying? So for all the investors and all the other individuals that are involved in this transaction, they don't live in this community. So just with that in itself, I feel like the contract or whatever, the whole deal should be null and void. And as my neighbor said earlier in the conversation, it shouldn't even come back to the table. Or involve Mr. King, or, raise our taxes just a little bit. So I wish everyone the best. I really appreciate all the comments. And thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Rodney, thank you so much. I'm sorry, your name again was? We get the name for the record?
Sir, what was your name again?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Strong.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thanks. You too, and continue to hold on and continue to share with us and participate as we go along tonight. Thank you. Ready?
Go ahead, Mr. Chandler.
I'm Chandler, 1612. I've been in the community since 1984. Knowing that the entrance and egress to West Coast being extended to 45th Street is going to be a nightmare. I don't have to, excuse me, I don't have to basically tell you what's already been talked about. However, I will bring to a point when South Place, or the entrance, To get in and out of that community was a nightmare. And I'm sure that if you go back in your records, you'll find the date that they finally decided to put a turn lane there because I mean, when they originally built this community and had the turn lane to go in and out of there and the turn lane to go in and out of Jeffrey, you know, traffic wasn't as bad. We've come to 2020, and with the increase in residents in the city of West Palm, with the increase in residents coming in home to the park, that turn lane going to South Place is pretty much a death trap for some people just trying to make the turn. If the light turns green, you got the arrow, it's blocked. Just imagine at 7 o'clock in the morning, all these cars trying to get out of West Place. You're going to have a line backed up into your roundabout, up into your community, and you're not going to be able to get in there and out, which is going to cause frustration in those residents. We consider the fact that all these residents are not going to be told it's just a nightmare that you're going to have entrance and egress in that community. They're just interested in selling these properties, and I don't know where they come up with these prices, but I have to agree that if you want to make them 10, 12 acre lands back there, or half acres, and build 10 houses back there and have large scale property, that's more conducive, but you're trying to stuff more into a small place. If you have an idea for a good community, this is not the location. Location, location, location. We remember we can build a big house in a small area, but make it conducive to everything else that's around there. The two people who live on the place right now are literally being put on the back burner to suffer whatever needs to go through to put this community up. So you pass this, and these two people, these residents that live there, suffer the consequences of that roadway.
Okay.
I don't think that if my mom lived there, I would be very happy to have that happen. These are our communities, these are our residents, these are our neighbors. And it's like, okay, we'll shut down Boardman. We won't have them go in and out of there. We'll just let these two people suffer. You'll present it that way just so that you can put these units in there. I don't think that's really fair to them, fair to the neighbors, fair to the community as a whole. I appreciate the time that, I've had to be able to speak. I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and we can move on to the next person.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your comments. Thanks. Okay, so we'll allow another 40-second delay to see if there's anyone else, or there's someone else.
Last call for Zoom.
Hi, this is Judy Daniels. I'm at 1628 Boardman Avenue. I was there last time we did this meeting. And I'm going to echo Scott Schrader's statement, comments from his letter. I've looked into this. I'm in mortgage banking, so I understand a bit about the purchase and sale of property and I've also been in construction. So I understand what's going on here. I'm going to say that this is not a good idea. Again, this is not a good idea for the community. There's too many homes being built back there, and it's trash. So I'm just going to please, council members, please don't vote this into existence for our community. It's going to hurt us all, not just one or two, but the entire community. What hurts one hurts us all.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate your participation. Thanks. Okay. Anyone else, Ken?
Mr. Shapiro. Mr. Bergnoy?
Yes, I thank you for talking.
Is that a resident?
I live at 13003 Southwest 104th Court in Miami. I am
Okay.
trustee who owns the legal title to this property. I and my colleagues have been citizens
I'm
of
sorry,
Magnolia Park
just
now for
pause a second.
Let's pause just a second.
Okay, just so that we're clear, we're currently on the floor for residents' comments. So we just want to make sure that we're clear so that we don't want any more confusion. So if it's the pleasure of the council, if there's no other residents in the hopper to speak? No, we're trying to clear it up now so there's no confusion. No, he's the owner, but my point was we're currently taking comments from residents so that we're clear. Are there any other residents waiting to speak? Not on YouTube or Zoom?
Any other Magnolia Park residents that wish to speak?
Okay. If there's no one else in the hopper to be residents, because we're speaking to residents right now, so that we're clear. Okay. That Judy Daniels was the last. Okay. All right. So what I'll do at this point in time, if it's the pleasure of council to hear from the owner, then we'll hear from the owner.
What did you say?
The owner of the property is online. I just wanted to make sure that the record was clear that we were taking residents' comments at this point so that it didn't get interdispersed. So that if indeed it's the pleasure of the council, we'll hear from the owner. Is it your... That's fine. Okay, all righty.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Metcalf, Mr. Mayor. So, having been citizens of Magnolia Park for the last 14 years, we've had several tenants live on the property. We have always endeavored to be good, upstanding citizens of the community. We've taken good care of the property over the years. It's fairly secluded and there could be an area for mischief, and we've made sure that hasn't happened. You know, I've had this property under contract 5 times over the last 14 years. And the issue has always been, we recognized that we needed additional access to the property. And we've never been able to attain that. And the current group who is looking to develop the property has been very focused on making sure that they set forth this development in a way that has the least amount of hardship impact on any of the existing residents. I think they have done that. They have addressed the concerns of the community about having Boardman be the sole ingress and egress of the property. These are going to be occupied by homeowners who are going to buy. They're going to make investments in their homes in your community. It's the type of project you all want for our communities. These aren't going to be strangers. These are going to be owners and families, and they're not going to all come and go at the same time. So I would hope members of the commission, of the planning commission, that you would favorably consider this project. I think that the proposed development will not be will not result in the kind of scenario that's been painted by some of the residents. I appreciate it. I appreciate that change is difficult and that it's a quiet, nice little area at this point, but I believe we can maintain that character. So thank you everybody for allowing me this opportunity to address the commission.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Pertnow, if you would just stay online. What we're going to do at this point in time so that we're transparent, we give information, we answer questions. We're going to give 3 minutes to each council member if we're all done with the residents' comments, all done, right, to address any issues or concerns you have. If you want to speak to a concern or a question that was raised, you have 3 minutes as well, so that we give everyone an opportunity to speak.
I want to ask him
we'll start with you. Okay.
Mr. Portnoy. Addie Green, I'm a council member, and I will be speaking after all the residents and people have spoken, because I want to reference what the mayor and vice mayor's concern is about funding, getting money for the town. And I thought of something, the closest property to that, or the property that is adjacent to your property, is the Cadillac place. Just something to think about. I thought about it the other night. It would be good if there was some way that you could get a contract from or maybe the Cadillac people may want to expand one day. And if they wanted to expand, that is one way they could expand into that property. That's just something I thought about.
Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you. They've expressed no interest over the 14 years that I've been the owner of the property in expanding. Thank you for that suggestion.
You're welcome.
Okay. Alrighty. So again, what we're going to do at this time, council will be, you're more than welcome to address any concerns, ask any questions. You have no more than 5 minutes, and it won't be rude, but we don't want to wear the patience of our residents. So if I cut you off, I'm not cutting you off. I'm simply saying, let's be equitable. Each person have 3 to 5 minutes. Okay? Ready, Councilman Smith?
Good evening. One great day to be here. I've heard a lot of comments from the audience. A little technical issue about me. I am a resident of Bryn Mawr. I built my house in '95 and closed on it in '96. I raised 2 sons. They're in college now. One continued his degree in engineering. I have another son that's going to college for engineering. I've raised my son in this community. I love this community. One thing that was appealing to this community was, even though we're 24 now, there was potential, a whole lot of undeveloped land from the Highline front time, which has been undeveloped, across the street, which is the portion of West Palm and Mangonia, which is doors, and towards the doors. And the thing about development and me and being in the town, I get excited about growth. I want to be clear on that. And development. And we permitted growth and some development to a degree. Let's just go fast forward 7-11. That's fine, but growth is paramount. It's going to happen. Throughout this county, growth is happening. Wellington, Boca Raton, Boynton, West Palm, Riviera, Lake Park, North Palm Beach, in the western quarters, in the eastern quarters. So growth is going to happen. I'm not going anywhere. I love here. I've expanded on my house since I've been in '95, 1,000 square foot extra land. I'm not going anywhere. I intend on being at 1624 Crandon Avenue until I die. I appreciate and I respect each and every one concerned. But I want you to be crystal clear. I'm not wavering on what should and could happen if we're not tunnel vision into things. And understand traffic is a concern. I drive in it every day. And this Jeffrey coming off of 45th, it's a nightmare. But that's where we leave that to the professionals, the concerned people that can get that straight. That's all I got.
Okay. Alrighty. You have 2 more minutes. That's it? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll take those off the table. Okay. Who wants to be next? Okay, McConnell.
I'll go. My name is Clarence McConnell. I moved into Mangonia Park in 1956. And I've lived here ever since. I raised my family here. And I'll probably die here. I do agree with the residents of Bryn Mawr. I don't live in Bryn Mawr. I live in Old Town, which some of you may not even know exists. But it does. There's still a few of us over there. All of our property has been changed to industrial or limited commercial. And that's the way it went years ago. But I agree with, I've lived here, I watched them build Bryn Mawr. And it's kind of a secluded neighborhood. It's only a couple ways in. And I can understand all of you that live there wants to keep it as is. But the thing about it is like Councilman Smith said, progress. They are going to build something back there eventually. But I'm with you guys on this project. It's too many people in too small of a space. And that's about all I got to say.
Okay. Thank you so much. Councilwoman Green?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Vice Mayor Johnson, I think that you had a very good idea when you said that you were for denying the property when it was first presented, and you said you denied it because you didn't like the process. But you said now the reason you are in favor is because we need the money, we need the funding. And I remember when we denied it the first time, the mayor said that was his concern, that we needed the funding. And my comments I want to make to the residents of the community. This is about Addie Green. I'm not an expertise in development. I don't think I'm smart enough to talk about development that would bring funds to the community. That's number one. Number two, before I do anything up here, I've always promised you, I will get the feeling what you want first. And when we talk about funding, the minute I saw this, my first time coming to the town of Mangonia Park, I've been in the house now where I am for 30 years. But the first thing that I bought, I purchased for myself, was a townhouse. That's what brought me to Mangonia Park, and it was Tiffany Lake. This is the splitting image of Tiffany Lake. The vision of it, sir, what it looked like, the appearance of it. You can shake your head, I lived there. But they look just like Tiffany Lake now. But Tiffany Lake didn't look like that. Right now, Tiffany Lake, when you look at it, it is gorgeous. They brought it up because when I first purchased in there, it was beautiful. A townhouse. It only cost me $27,000. I tried to purchase one a couple of months ago, and Wells Fargo wouldn't fund it because of the financials were so poor. It would cost me, if I purchase now, it would cost me as much to purchase in Tiffany Lake as I bought in Wellington or Jupiter. Because the company that went in and brought it back up, they did it to get the criminal element out of it. It had turned completely into Section 8. And that's what happens when you especially now with the virus, people can't even afford to purchase it. But I'm getting back to the funding, and I don't think I'm equipped to decide what we need to do to bring funding to the town is, Mr. McConnell, I think that you are the only one up here, if I remember, who knows anything about development, because when I first came here, we were on septic tanks. When I was a county commissioner, we were on septic tanks. When I was in Tallahassee, we were on septic tanks. When I was a county commissioner, Royal Palm, We're on septic tanks, holes, and pigs, they're digging holes, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm from Alabama. I asked Mr. Metcalf, what's an outdoor toilet? An outdoor bathroom is when you move it and and when you fill it, you have to move it again. That's what I have to do in my house where I am right now. But in Wellington, Royal Palm, they're not on septic tanks anymore. I've been in my house 30 years. I don't know about you, but I'm still on a septic tank. We have council people. They were here when I was the county commissioner. I'm still on septic tank. And we are talking about bringing funding to the town. Let's bring the infrastructure up in our community first, and then maybe we can bring some money into our town. Each one of the council people up here, we are all over a board. Vice Mayor Johnson is over code enforcement. I've been here 30 years, and that's the first time in my life I've ever seen bed mattresses by Mr. Grosser, right down on the corner there. Mr. Grosser is the worst looking. They have never done anything for that store as long as I've been here. It's an eyesore. We used to have a Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie was the anchor for that beautiful shopping center. Mangonia Park was known for its shopping center. Gail English was the mayor. He was known all over the legal cities because he was more experienced than I am as a council person. And I'll admit, I don't know what they knew to bring this town up to where it should be. When the Winn-Dixie closed down, which was the anchor for that beautiful shopping center, I was not on the council, and forgive me for saying this, council persons, but whoever that lets you know we don't know very much. I don't know very much about development. Okay. But I know what an anchor is. And for you to get rid of Winn-Dixie, I'm sorry, I'm not criticizing, and anchor it with Presidente, that's not bringing in funding.
All righty. Okay. All right.
That's bringing.
Okay. All righty.
That's not bringing in funding. I think what we 5 members up here are supposed to be doing is helping to upgrade, Mr. McConnell. Okay. You're the only one I know that speaks up for construction because you've been here longer than us. And when we want to, anytime we want to talk about something about building something, we look at you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Green.
And
in fairness to everyone, Councilwoman Green, we prefaced it, and everyone in the audience heard that we're going to give everyone 3 to 5 minutes.
You are the town manager.
And
you are the town manager.
With 3 to,
I am not going to continue to let him turn me off.
I'm sorry.
This has gone on long enough.
Just a point, ma'am. I'm sorry. A point of order, ma'am. We said it, and we're going to go to our attorney. We said it that everyone would have 3 to 5 minutes. Right, and we've done that.
Where I was going was, we need leadership. We need leadership and respect, Mayor Albright.
Well, again, Councilwoman.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Let's do
this. This item is too important for you to sit up here and try to tell the council people or the vice mayor when I can't speak.
Councilwoman Green, let me do this. When you were at the county, you served as chair of the county for a year.
You are the
what was your responsibility as a chair, Councilwoman Green?
That's not my decision. I'm not the chair of the board.
Okay, I'll tell you what. All I said, now I'll be quiet. I'll say again. You in this town, I'm going to say one more time, and I'll say for me too. This town needs leadership. Are we going to continue to get what you are getting right now?
Yeah, and what we're getting is one individual who didn't want to abide by the rules. We set the rules, and everyone agreed to the rules of 5 minutes. Everyone adhered to those rules for 5 minutes. It's now 9 minutes, and so latitude was given, and so what we were doing is just simply trying to stay in harmony with what we decided. Vice Mayor Johnson?
All right, I have a few points that I would like to share. First of all, I've heard residents say that they want to get off septic tanks and they want better roads. In fact, Councilwoman Green mentioned that we should have some housing assistance program to help those who need to build up their homes. And these are all different ways of improving our town, but it takes something that we don't have. Money. Well, now, grants have been requested and not granted time and time again. Excuse me, ma'am, I'm speaking, please be respectful. Thank you.
They don't know how to get them.
Please, be very respectful.
Okay, I'm sorry, again, we're not cutting anybody off, but we,
And I'm asking you to be respectful.
Vice Mayor Johnson? Vice Mayor Johnson? Yeah.
I would like to know how many of you would like for your taxes to be increased to pay for all the things for other people in town? How many would do that? I see 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands. How much of an increase would you like to put on your taxes to pay for all the problems in town?
Whatever is needed.
Whatever is needed?
It's
Like
not a spur of the moment decision.
Okay, but that's right. That's
Okay.
right. It's not a spur of the moment decision. But yet you brought it before us as saying that you'd rather increase. When we just increased the water bill, how much of a backlash did we get? Just a few little dollars, people were fussing because they don't have the money to increase. You don't have it, you don't have it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, just a,
Thank you. I'm asking you to think about it.
You asked a question, I want to answer.
okay.
You'll have an opportunity to respond, but let me finish, please, sir. Thank you. My concern is that we look to the future as to how we can improve our community. We have had developer after developer after developer come before us for Don King property. And every time they bring all these wonderful plans, some of them were very good, some weren't, I didn't agree with at all. And I didn't agree with them because of the increased traffic that would bring into this community. I didn't agree with them because they wanted to bring 20 and 30 18-wheelers into this community, like we got room for that in our streets. No way, no way. Some of the plans have been very good, like the Institute for Learning was a great idea. But what happened? When they get to sit down with the owner of the property, financially, it's not feasible. What he requires for you to pay to buy the property and for the developers to develop the property, they'll take them 25 years before they make $1.
Got 1
Not
minute.
really.
How much sense does that make?
Okay,
Excuse
go.
me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I know what the developer said to me.
But I know I work with you.
Excuse me.
Okay, we're going to ask just one conversation at a time, okay? Thanks. Okay, you have 1 minute.
We
Vice
have
Mayor.
worked so hard with the budget of what we have to try to at least balance without cutting staff. We worked very hard this summer, back and forth on every dollar to make sure that we had a stable budget to be approved. We need more revenue coming in order to take care of the various needs in our community.
Okay.
I'm looking to what can bring it in. Certainly, I'm concerned about traffic and safety, and that's was my point. I did not say anything about any other concern in the last meeting.
Thank you so much,
except
Vice
for
Mayor.
traffic and safety.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's for your concern.
Okay, thank you so much.
I don't live in Brentwood.
Okay, I'll see your hand, and we'll see what we can do concerning that. My quick 5 minutes. First, the mayor never said anything about needing money. That was never one of my conversations, okay? But let me just kind of clear something up. For a year and a half, this property has been being deliberated for a year and a half. We have public meetings, and so all of the information is available for public consumption. Nothing has been done in private, behind closed doors, anything else. We operate in the sunshine, and always have. As it relates to adding sheriff's deputies, I heard that. Going through the budget, just this past budget, and I tried to be very clear and so that you understand, we don't have any funds. If we needed to add another deputy at this point, we couldn't do it. The budget could not withstand it, so we can't do that. Relative to talking to Don King, and I was just writing your comments down as you were going. Relative to talking to Don King, there are ongoing conversations at least once a month with Mr. King, and proposed developers come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go, and so the property is still undeveloped. We don't own the property. That's private ownership, and so what a person decides to do with their personal property as it relates to selling or not selling is within their purview. We can't force anybody to sell. I'm sorry. Point of order. Right, and so we can't force you to sell your house, and nobody can force anybody to sell their house or their property. As it relates to equipment, I'm going to ask if we can just have one conversation at a time, please. Relative to equipment being on the property, complete roads, we know nothing about that as a council. I don't know if that was just they parked it there from the construction that they were doing for the authorized construction that took place when we laid the pipes. Right, so that could have been they could have just been storing their things there. And so what we don't want to do is get into speculations because it causes confusion. We're going to find out what it was, but we're assuming at this point that it was the construction company that was authorized to do the work that everyone saw in the Bryn Mawr section as it relates to the drainage. Now, as it relates to Section 8 residents, every meeting that we've had with the developer, we made it very clear, we've shared it with you here from the dais, that there will be no set-asides, none. That simply means that you cannot take a certificate. Of course, we're working with our attorneys to make sure that language could be put in. We talk about deed restricting, and as a person in real estate, they would know what this means. Deed restricting the properties so that no owner can come in and purchase 10, 15, and 20 because we know that nobody can live in 10 or 15 units, right? And so they've agreed to having language there so that we're attended to those kind of things. As it relates to raising your property taxes within the town, sorry, we can't do that because we're already at the max. We're at 9.9 mils, right? So 10 is the max. By law, you have to have at least a little something below that, right? And so when we get our DR or 420s and we get that information, so we can't raise your taxes. We can't raise our taxes. It's not an option. We're already there. Okay. Now, so as it relates to as well the budget, going through the budget, we had a very difficult time. And what wasn't shared with you, and I'll share with you, we did cut positions. We had 2 part-time positions that we had to eliminate. We had a consultant that we had a lobbyist, public information. It was the Pittman Group out of Tallahassee. They were doing very good work for us. They were getting grants. We talked about grants, and because we're not full-time, so there are things that we need persons who specializes in areas to do. We had to eliminate that contract because the budget simply wouldn't withstand it. So now, while I'm emphatically denying that I did not make a statement about we need money, I said, here's what we do in terms of increasing revenues should we decide to do that. So I just want the record to be corrected. Right. Now, so what I'm also hearing, and I understand, and as I've said time and time again, any development, whether it's 30 houses on that property or 5 houses on that property, it's going to produce traffic. That's a reality. If it's 100 units, it's going to create traffic. So what I'm hearing is that because the traffic is of a concern, and it is. So what we should do at this point in time is break off all conversations with Mr. King. Don't develop that property because if it's developed in any form, it's going to produce what? Traffic. Traffic is inevitable. It's going to happen. Whether you add 1 house or 10 houses, it's going to happen. How you go about making sure that traffic doesn't become so encumbersome is what makes the difference. And so what the developer, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the developer, I'm just sharing information. So what the developer has done, as I know, and I think the rest of the council know, they have been beat up by this council because we've heard you loud and clear. Don't come through Bryn Mawr. We've heard that loud and clear. We denied it. We beat them up. They went back before the county. I was, as information was on the last conversation, last conference call that they had. Now, were the engineers, the specialists, who were stating that, okay, here's what, and so forth, and without bothering with all the minutia, and agreed, okay, we're going to shut down Boardman because we heard the residents. So at this point in time, I'm trying to understand in terms of the traffic. So are we talking, and this is a rhetorical question at this point, So are we talking about the additional traffic? We just don't want traffic on 45th Street? Because if that's the case, then what we need to do is call every developer that we've been talking to and tell them, just leave town because you're going to produce traffic. There's just no way around it. So, I guess what I'll need, and then you can appoint a spokesperson, because we are listening. Let us know how we can go about, in the absence of building a helipad, get people out in and out in helicopters. Absent of that, explain to me how we can have any kind of development in Mangonia Park and it does not produce traffic. So if you want, just we're going to have just a little bit more here, and just have a spokesperson explain to us how we go about accomplishing that, because we're listening. Okay? All righty. So what we're going to do, my 5 minutes is up. So what we're going to do is, again, just if one individual can tell us how we can go about building Don King's property, any property across the street here, these two the sections here, without producing traffic, we're listening. So who's going to be the point person? Okay, you guys decide. See, this is, I believe in working together. Okay, you guys decide. No, one person. One person, so you guys decide. We'll have some additional conversation while you're deliberating out there, okay? You guys decide who's going to be the spokesperson, okay? But in the interim, we're going to take just a quick 30-second. Okay, Vice Mayor, you have 30 seconds. Everybody get 30 seconds. Vice Mayor? I'm sorry, Councilman Smith had his hand up first. While they're deliberating, okay? You have your 30 seconds after his 30 seconds.
Before they speak, may I?
You don't want to defer.
Okay.
I want to show you something.
Since we're having a conversation about developing any parcel of land without increasing traffic. And I thought about it. It's not rocket science. Whether it's a 7-Eleven, or community center, or a fire station, or a library, or a grocery store. How do we prevent on this corridor of 45th Street for development and not increasing traffic?
Okay.
One thing about being on this corridor, when you have traffic at risk, that's why traffic lights are in place.
Okay.
That's why law enforcement is in place. That's why we have things in place for pedestrian safety. But let me be crystal clear. Either Police County update mass transit to get less cars off the street. Either Brightline or whatever it's called now to increase train or people, excess trains, then people don't drive automobiles on the street. So those are the things that I'm looking at if we're talking about improving and getting traffic on this 45th Street corridor down.
Okay.
Those are two things that I would do my research in.
Okay, I think they're almost ready. So you took more than 30 seconds. You took a minute and 30 seconds. So I have to give Councilwoman Green a minute and 30 seconds as well.
Okay, my turn. I'll be very quick to say my answer is this. Number one, infrastructure, if we know what that means, if it's updated and upgraded, you will have people who want to build in this community. Number one, and it's not about traffic. The county controls traffic. We don't.
Okay. All righty. Okay, who's the spokesperson? Okay. No. Again, we're trying. We have another applicant that we need to get to. So that's why we were asking you to work together. This is what democracy is: working together. So who's the spokesperson? No, we can't. We've closed the floor. Respectfully, we've closed the floor, so we can't have everybody. Right. That's why we had to work together. So we're going to give 2 minutes. You want to take a minute and share a minute with somebody else? Let's do that. Okay. And I'm not being rude, but after the minute, okay? Okay. Oh, no, I'm just saying so when time comes. Okay.
There's no one in here.
I'm sorry, is the mic on?
Off
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Is the mic on, Ken? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, better.
Okay, can you hear me? No one is opposed to building in the back. We said single-family homes. Everybody talking about traffic.
Amen.
It's going to be traffic, but we want single-family homes.
Amen.
That's going to bring revenue up. Nobody wants 100
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't care about, traffic. We want single-family homes. It was supposed to be an acre, 1.5 acres, bring it down to blocks,
Okay.
75 to 125. I don't care. But that's not what we want, single-family homes. That's gonna bring revenue in. We don't want 162 units. We don't want another project. That's what it's gonna be.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I didn't feel like, my house is worth $50,000. I don't want the bank to go down, and nobody else who live in there.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Roddy, and just as the next applicant, as soon as we find a developer, we haven't in the past 20-something years, that wants to build single families, we'll take it. Come to the podium. Okay, we'll take it, but nobody's coming to build single families. Okay?
You know, I keep hearing about all these deals over the years that fell through. People to be on the council, and just, oh, that was a good deal, Don King. How many years you gonna say that? That was a good deal, oh, it fell through. Everything gonna fall through? You know what I mean? I mean, somewhere you gotta stop and make a decision about something. You're saying, basically, one day something's gonna be built back there. Well, you got these residents who've been in this residence a lot longer than I have. 30 years, 40 years, Miss Addie, 30 years. I think you can at least consider what the citizens want. I heard, I don't really know that the first original plan was to put homes back there. But somebody sat to a table and decided to find a way to put a lot more cash in their pockets.
Okay.
That's what it seemed like to me, from 50 homes to 161 units. You don't think it's about money?
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's about money.
Okay.
So you really need to think. And I'm gonna say it again.
Okay.
Don King don't live over there. He owns the property. Well, if it was in Palm Beach Gardens, I guarantee you, it'd be high-rise hotels over there. Pretty lights, palm trees and everything.
And a lot of traffic. Oh, thanks, and a lot of traffic. Ms. Perez, we're gonna indulge you a minute because you're a realtor. Okay. And then we have to close. Okay.
Okay? A municipal district has 36 sections.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
I'm sorry, now, just before you begin, we want to make sure the attorney and the engineers can hear because you're speaking technical, so
Okay, a municipal district has 36 sections. And the sections are divided 6 miles, and it's divided on acres. And like one of the gentlemen said, the house that has more than 1 acre or half an acre, right? And 1 acre is 43,560. Right, exactly. I would like to know by Tallahassee, what was really signed for us when they really made Mongolia Park? I want to know what's the section they gave us.
okay.
So we can then do numbers and say, hey, listen, Mongolia Park, they gave us this little bit, we should have this little bit, and we can make constructions and use roads and this and that, but we have to, the only one is Tallahassee.
Okay, so let's.
And not only that, if you want to get rid of the gentleman that doesn't want to sell, there's something called police power. You have the police power. You can say, we need to construct streets. You either sell, or we buy you out, or you gotta move.
Okay.
The same thing happened in Hollywood, where they had to buy off those people that had houses and they didn't want to sell because they were many years in there. Guess what the county says? We got to stand for Lauderdale and you need to go.
Okay.
And they went. You can do the same thing with this man.
Okay.
It's not producing anything. And we need a street. We need to make streets. We need to bring revenue.
Okay, thanks. We did want to give you a minute because you're a realtor and we wanted to hear your expertise. Amity, you want to just speak to that? And we'll come to Dante.
I don't have any comments specific to her comments, no, sir.
Okay, right. Now, as it relates to home rule, does the state dictate platting and?
Yeah, but that's not why we're here tonight.
Okay.
I think we need to go back to why we're here. It's the master land use plan.
Okay, all righty, Dante, and then we're going to close the conversation. We have to.
So there's been a lot that's been said this evening that, most of it has not really, or does not pertain to this application.
It's a public meeting.
As I stated in the previous meeting, when we first started this endeavor to take on this project, all we wanted to do was just be part of the community. That was all. As you get, as the current landowner, had referenced, they've owned this property for quite some time. And they've had several contracts on it, and it always kind of fell through. And for a lot of the folks that don't understand, those are platted single-family homes there right now. And so what's happened is that it's not been too successful with a housing community because no one else ever wanted to buy back there and build a single-family home. So the other thing is, excuse me, the other thing is that, the Don King property has come up in conversation here quite a bit. And so, and that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, we won't.
But I'll tell you about a conversation that I had. I tried to buy that property, and he would not sell it to us. So, and we didn't try once, we didn't try twice, we didn't try 3 times, we tried 5 times to try to buy that property, and he would not sell the property. And so, again, a lot of the conversations that I heard, was to develop Don King's property, and I think that it was stated earlier, if Don King's property was developed, regardless of, even if you put a fruit stand there, you're going to generate traffic. And here's the interesting thing about traffic. Traffic is a temporary issue. I incur traffic coming here on 95. I knew that when I left I live in Boynton, I had to leave my house 10 minutes early, and I got here on time. You want to know where there wasn't any traffic? Right here at 45th in Congress. There wasn't any traffic at all. However, again, traffic is temporary. Look, we have to plan for it, regardless if we build this project or not. There will be traffic anywhere. On 95, the Turnpike, North Lake, it'll be anywhere. Again, I stated, we've been working very hard on this project. We want to be part of this community. We've worked with your staff for a long time, and we've been at it. And again, we basically adhered to everything that they wanted us to do, revise our plans, put this here, put that there, add this to the project, and we certainly have done that. Again, it's been difficult, but it's been a difficult road to travel. However, all we want to try to do is just be part of this community. That's all that we want.
Okay.
And we've done everything that we possibly could. The last time we were here, we heard the message loud and clear that the residents did not want traffic on board. And so we have to go back to the drawing board again and put our heads together with our professionals, the folks over at the county, the planning staff here, the mayor, town manager, and everybody else, and, just to try to appease everyone. But at the end of the day, it's again, we just want to be part of the community, and that's all. So that's all I have to say. Thank you. I appreciate everyone's time. I genuinely do.
Thank you so much. At this point, we're going to, just a very quick question. We're going to go to the planner. A quick question from Councilwoman Green. Then we're going to close. We've had full discussion. Okay.
May I ask now?
Yes, and then we're going to.
So you've heard the question from the residents. You heard what they said. They want single-family homes. Can you answer that question?
Well, yeah, because it's planted for single-family homes right now, and it's not been too successful, has it?
Beg your pardon? That's not what I asked. Would you? No, I said, would you build single-family homes? Oh, that's okay. You answered my question.
Okay, thanks.
You answered my question.
Okay, thanks. We got it. Okay. Nilsa, then we're closing conversation. We had full discussion, I think.
So I am the town planner. I am not the town engineer. I'm just a planner. So I just wanted to clarify that. So that's number one. Number two, as a planner, I want to mention where are we in the process. This is just the master site plan. It's the master land use plan. Master land use plan. So the next step is the preliminary site plan. At preliminary site plan, we are going to be reviewing much more in detail. We are going to be reviewing the elevations, the facade that the applicant is proposing. We are going to be reviewing, for example, how it's going to be actually the no connection between Borman and West Place. And that is very specific on the town engineer letter. So the next step, it will be much more detailed, is the preliminary site plan. After the preliminary site plan comes the final site plan. So this is just the big picture, the master land use plan, which is very important because traffic is part of it, as we were talking. But there will be further reviews and further details that the applicant needs to provide before this is finally approved, which is preliminary site plan and then final site plan. There are two further steps with regard to that. I just wanted to give the overview of that.
Thank you so much, Nilsa, for explaining the process. So I think we've had full discussion. So at this point in time, having had full discussion and having information and concerns expressed by our residents, as well as the the engineer's letter we have before us. So at this point in time, council members, we're going to go now to the vote as it relates to the proposed MLUP 2020-02, proposed master land use plan. This is, of course, the Enclave at Magnolia Park. I'm sorry? Yes, this is a recommendation from the P&Z to go to the council. So it's again, so that we're clear. If approved, and this is just if approved, then what happens is that it would go now to the council for the council to take it up for a decision as well. So we're sitting currently as the planning and zoning, not the council. Okay? So with that, we're going to go. Councilwoman Green, you have something real quick, or?
Never mind.
Okay, so with that, we're going to take up for consideration the MLUP 2020-02 proposed master use plan. Of course, this is the Enclave at Magnolia Park, and we've had full discussion as it relates to the proposed development. So at this point in time, we'll now entertain a motion as it relates to your pleasure regarding the proposed application. Motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I so move that we approve the site plan, the master land use plan for Enclave at Magnolia Park.
Motion has been made. Is there a second to that motion? It has been properly moved and seconded. Any comments, additional comments on the motion?
What was the motion again?
The motion made by the Vice Mayor was to approve approve the recommendation. Again, this is a recommendation, right, for it to go to council for consideration. Okay? Right. So it has been moved and seconded by Councilman Smith. Are there any additional questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
No.
Councilmember McConnell?
No.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Mayor Alder?
Yes.
It passes 3-2 for recommendation to the town council.
Okay, thank you so much, and it'll be taken up at the council for consideration. Okay, so that we're clear. Certainly. Okay. I'm sorry, just before we do, let's make sure we have a proper motion. Is there a motion for adjournment of the planning and zoning?
That we adjourn the board, planning and zoning board meeting.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor, aye? Aye. All same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much. Okay. Ready? So if you want to stay with us, we're now going to call the council meeting into session in 5 minutes. Thanks so much.
You have a full council meeting now.
I forgot to.
Yeah, we have a full council meeting. We didn't even start it yet.
I forgot to make a mention.
I know.
They can't do anything. I forgot to make mention of that. They're not going to be blocking me in.
I want to address the council with regard to the waiver.
It's part of your staff report.
Yeah, the two houses. Yeah,
So
I'm not
they
gonna block
are,
them.
they are approving the
They
waiver.
have to figure out how to go about it.
It's very clearly.
We
So
should have done that earlier.
I was going to mention them. They just kind of move right away.
It's
How
part
do
of
you
it.
want to frame
You got to
it?
be willing to do the right thing,
Maybe
even
we
if it
should
means
just
losing
say for the record that this was part of the staff report. The applicant has requested a waiver as, you know, as allowed by the code.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know?
That's fine.
So,
Still on.
Okay. We're still live?
I want to talk to the
Okay, just as information, if I can have your attention for everyone, we're still live, so govern yourselves accordingly. Okay, thanks.
happens with this, they have to live and everybody decided this becomes Broward Incorporated. So they're gonna pay everybody.
All of the misinformation. All of the
Mayor, I
misinformation.
just want to mention something that I'm gonna mention now at the council meeting. Part of the staff report on page 9, it's saying that the applicant is requesting a waiver. So, and it has to be done now. The approval of this waiver has to be done by council.
Also, I'll come to you then.
Yes, please. I just want to make sure that we cover this. This is very, very clear here. Per code, this is where it needs to happen. On page 9 here. I have a question on that. Yeah, let's have,
So we'll
yes,
put it then.
please.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate it. I got you.
Yes, I will. I'm gonna call the news. I'm gonna call the news. That's it. Yes, we're gonna talk about it. No, oh, okay,
So much misinformation, I tell you. Just, oh, Lord. So much misinformation. We'll see how it happens.
Well, on the, it's on the master land use plan. Yes. Approval of the town council. It says town council. Very low. Very, very low. It's not really an issue.
Okay, we're going to come to order in just a moment. We have 1 minute and we'll come to order.
We need to bring our mattresses.
Let me tell you, I came dressed for the weather.
Good. Very nice.
Leggings and this.
Very good. Very good.
It was hot when we first came in here. It's cold now.
Thank you so much. We're going to come to order now. Thank you. Okay, we're going to come to order for the next meeting. Okay, and we're going to actually, feel free to stay with us for the council meeting because we're going to be discussing some things as well, so feel free to stay with us. Okay, and just before we get started, just as information, the reason why we have to call point of order in part is that if there's external conversation, the recording becomes distorted. Well, and so for anyone who wants to request a copy, they'll have a difficult time hearing it, so we want to make sure the record is clear. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, Ms. Councilwoman Smith. Oh, okay. In the Palm Beach County School District, yes, I have that all planned. So much misinformation being spread. It's amazing. Okay. Thanks so much. We're going to come to order. Just real quick. Okay, we're going to get started in just a moment, and thank you so much for standing by. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We have our full accompaniment. So at this point in time, we're going to call the Town of Mangonia Park regular Town Council meeting of November 17th, 2020 into session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Alberry.
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Green. Here. Councilmember McConnell.
Here.
And Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Thank you so much. At this time, let us stand for our invocation, please.
Oh, gracious Father, we ask you that you come into this board's meeting. We ask that you help us in the decision-making process. We ask that you respect the residents, because all together we are here for the interests of the residents and the town. God, we know you're a God of all power, and you know that this nation needs proper leaders in decision-making. We ask that you do in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I'll pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. So at this point in time, we'll attend to our agenda. Are there any additions, substitutions, or deletions? Any substitutions or deletions? Just for the sake of time and brevity, I would like to request that we move item 4A, if that was still going to be done, to the end. Okay, right, so that we can get to 4A, and we can place that at the end of, actually since it's not a voting item, we'll just place it under your manager comments. If that's okay? Okay. Okay, so item 4A, the presentation will be taken under the manager's comments. Okay. Okay. Are there any other deletions, substitutions, or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve as amended?
Mr. Mayor, I so move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. It is carried, and thanks so much. And we do not have any items for the consent agenda unless there's some items to be placed on the consent agenda. Okay, seeing that there are none, we'll continue on in our agenda. And if you have a copy of the agenda, feel free to follow along with us. First item is item 5, and that's Palm Beach County League of... that's been moved. Okay, to manager's comments?
Number 2.
There are none. Okay. Okay. All righty. Amity?
Thank you, sir. Mayor and Council, just a quick reminder, the general membership meeting for the league is, the next meeting is November 25th. That, again, is a virtual meeting, can be attended by conference call. It's at 12 p.m. The speaker is Tony Ortiz. He's the president of the Florida League of Cities, and the presentation is titled Building Stronger Cities. That's all. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Any questions for Amity? Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. We'll continue on our agenda. Our next item is item 7A, and this is a discussion on the approval of preliminary site plan application number PSR 139 Mangonia Park LLC, CO Ganesh Pandit. Okay, and the applicant is here. Amity?
Thank you, Mayor. When you approach the podium, sir, could you state your name for the record?
Sure. My name is N.G. Mangoli.
Thank you, sir. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so I need to swear you in. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you, sir. And I'll turn back to the council and ask if there are any ex parte communications with regard to PSR 1319 Mangonia Park LLC that need to be disclosed at this time.
No.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, I thank you so much. And you've stated your name and address for the record?
My name is N.G. Mangoli, and we are here to seek approval for 1319 53rd Street, which is an existing lot where the foundation was built. All the neighborhood has been constructed as industrial park, and we are seeking approval so that we can build that building for industrial use and warehouse use.
Thank you so much. So at this point in time, Ken, you have anything prior to any questions or comments?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, just to say that the applicant has worked well with staff. Our engineer, Van, has worked with them extensively over the past several weeks under the To say vetted would be an understatement, and staff would recommend approval once you ask any questions of the applicant and/or staff.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we'll see if there is any questions or committee.
Yes, sir. If I just may add a little bit of context, just so you're aware, this was developed as a planned industrial park. So what you see as part of your backup, they're intending to build on one of the lots. But this planned industrial park does go way back. So I worked with your planner way back when, many, many months ago. They have obtained the approval of, there's an industrial park property owners association to develop this. There's a declaration of covenants and restrictions that's recorded for this planned industrial park, which limits the footprint, the development to the approved footprint that was approved as part of the master plan, which was approved by special exception for the planned industrial park. This plan does meet that. Just to give you context, because this is a little bit unique of a property, you'll see in the diagram and the drawings that you have that this is, if you will, a landlocked parcel. But there are cross-access easements which have been recorded over time in the past. They remain in place to allow adequate access from the south through the other portion of the planned industrial park. So just to give you context, because in looking at the plans, it seems like it's kind of on an island of its own. This was developed as a planned industrial park when it was originally approved. So this meets with the approval of the PIP, which is the planned industrial park. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And this is the slab next to the linen. Okay. About the park. Okay. Righty. Questions or comments? Council comments or
I just
questions?
have
Nelson, you have
one
something?
comment.
Oh, certainly.
Our engineer, David Stamberg, he wrote a very detailed letter with 5 important comments that the applicant needs to meet prior to final site plan.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, well.
Okay. And you are in receipt of those, and you agree with those?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So noted for the record. Okay. Anything else, Nelson?
No, nothing else, no comments.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it. Okay. Any questions or comments? Any council comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none. And this comes about way of a staff recommendation for approval. And we do have our engineer's letter before us, and you're in receipt and have read through the engineer's comments, and you agree with those?
Yes.
Okay, so noted for the record. Okay. Any other questions or comments from council? Okay. Okay, hearing, this is, yes, just preliminary. Okay, hearing none.
Going on the detail of the slab of land that you're trying to, property that you're trying to develop, what are your intents
The intention is to build it for the similar use around the neighborhood. There are cabinet manufacturing.
Yes.
There's a laundry unit. So we are, as a developer, we want to develop it, and we'll try to either separate into 6 individual units, sub-units, or it will be 1 unit. It depends upon how the market is going to be around. But we hope that we will be within the same, like millwork, trimwork, those are the industries over there. So it's going to be like light industrial warehouse type of use.
Next week here.
Okay. Okay. Any other council comments or questions? Hearing none. Okay, Amity, you have anything else?
No, sir. Just before you entertain a motion, I don't know if there's any public still on Zoom or in the audience to comment on this item.
Okay, then we'll go to the floor. If there's nothing else. Okay, at this point in time, the floor is open for any public comment. If there's any public comment regarding this item, we'll take that now. And if there's someone also with us on Zoom who has any questions regarding this item, feel free, and we'll take your comments and your questions. Okay, for those who are present, we'll take those if you have any, and we're just awaiting the 40-second delay for those who are with us via Zoom. Okay, Alrighty, so we'll close the floor to public comment as well as that of those online with us. So at this point in time, seeing that there is no additional questions or comments for this preliminary, what is your pleasure as it relates to the application number PSR 1319, and that's at Magnolia Park LLC. This is Ganesh Pandit at 1319 53rd Street. What is your pleasure? Motion, please.
Mr. I motion that we approve the discussion board the preliminary site plan application of the address of 1319 Park LLC. And I'm following that such a name. Thank you.
I second the motion.
Okay, has been properly moved and seconded that we approve application number PSR 1319. Is there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith? Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
And Mayor Albright?
Yes. Thank you so much, and welcome to the town. We look forward to working with you. Okay. Okay, our next item is item 7B, and this is a discussion on the approval of a preliminary site plan application number PSR. This is Darren Arafopa, in care of Flores LLC at 1219 52nd Street, and the applicant is here. Amity?
Thank you, sir. When you approach the podium, can you state your name for the record? Thank you, sir. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir? Thank you, sir. And I'll turn back to the council and ask if there are any ex parte communications with regard to PSR Darren Aritapa, CO Flores.
None for me.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Again, and if you, just state your name and address again for the record. Thank you so much. Okay, you can proceed. You're before us because you're requesting...
I'm requesting a approval for preliminary site plan for development of the property. The property essentially I need to convert it to an office space for business owner operator. I'm going to have I have a tropical plants company, so I have to buy plants out for and sell them around the U.S. And the idea is to convert that property to an office space. So we submitted preliminary plans to that developer. The main sort of things I need to do is connect it to sewer, connect it to electricity, connect it to water. Once those things are done, it's going to be an office space.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much. Any questions or comments? Can you have anything while council is getting their comments together?
Mayor, council just said Darren's been through DRC, he's been through a variance hearing. He's worked well with our consultants, Ben in particular, and we recommend approval for preliminary.
Okay. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Okay. Any questions or comments from council?
Yes, I just wanted to get clarification. Is this a build out from a standing structure?
Yes, there's an existing structure on the property right now. So I had a structural engineer look at it. The structure itself is fine. It just needs to be connected to utilities.
Okay, so it's just remodeling the present structure?
Right. Well, a big part of it is the site work. So the site work has to be sort of connected to all the underground utilities, which is part of it. The drainage has to be sort of brought up to code. And so my engineer and Dan have kind of done all that over the last 6 months. And they got that sorted out. So once you have the drainage and the utilities taken care of, then the building really just needs cosmetic work, the actual building itself.
Okay. Other questions or comments from council?
Yes, what type of, variance you going, some of them are cosmetic, some of them are not. I'm curious in that 57th area, what type of septic or what is, security on the property? What are you putting to protect, the investment?
Septic. So the main sort of design elements that we're going to incorporate for septic is with the lighting and having sort of the doorway be visual from from the street. So the door, you'll be able to see it from afar. We're going to have lighting to the place, and we're not really going to have anything of high value on the property or anything like that. And we're going to sort of, one of the elements of that is to just maintain the property and have it look nice. And so I have access to tons of beautiful plants, and the idea is to just have it look very attractive. I think one of the core concepts of step dev is that if something looks well maintained and it looks nice, it's less likely to be sort of breached.
And the reason why I bring, to bring that up, because industrial area 57, you can't, be too careful, and you got to protect investment and make sure. I know our ordinance require that you have those in place. So I'm just wanting to make sure that we choose important to that. That's why it came up in the first place.
Maybe the sheriff or DRC can give us some pointers. What we can do that.
We're in the most safest town in the America. We have to take care of it.
Okay. Anything else, Councilman Smith? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Just real quick, and just for the record, so you're not looking, there won't be a nursery there. This is just, okay.
Yeah, I am looking to have a nursery. I do have like some other stuff going on, but not here, unless I have approval.
Okay. Alrighty. So noted. Right. Any changes to the facade at all, or just painting? Any changes to the facade, or is it just going to be painting?
The facade would be probably painted.
Okay. Just painting.
Yeah, we have to add another door for AV compliance. We need to widen up for wheelchair access. So there will be current door and then additional. The roof will probably change the roof is. So
Okay. Yeah, I think it needs it.
The sign, the logo as it is on this front page, that will be a separate approval as well, and have that painted by an artist from the building.
Okay. Okay, great. Alrighty, those are the only two questions I have. Any other council comments or questions?
But you're gonna make it very attractive.
Oh, well, it will be a nice place to work, yeah. Yeah. I like the area, I like to be close to train stations, and it's, yeah, I'm looking to make it nice and pretty and,
Okay. And since you're into plants, it's going to have some nice foliage?
yeah.
Okay,
plants,
good.
Yeah, we already, that was the first thing I did, I really realized.
The landscape, okay. Okay. Okay, appreciate it.
That's in the back, there's a description of the plans that we're proposing.
Okay. Okay. All right, thanks. Nilsa, you have anything?
No
with
comment.
this project? Okay. Anything else?
No,
Mr.
sir.
Reddy?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you have this before you, this request, and it has come as a recommendation for approval from administration. They've gone through the DRC, okay, that process, and the variance as well, okay? Thank you so much, and, okay. All right, so seeing that there's no other questions, we do have a request before us for preliminary for proposed master land use, preliminary site plan, I'm getting ahead of myself, number PSR, and this, of course, is for Darren Arithopa. At Florize at 1219 52nd Street. What is your pleasure as it relates to the application? Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the preliminary site plan application for the PSR. Darren,
Okay, oh, good. Okay, motion. Okay, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and seconded by Councilman McConnell. Any other questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Green? Yes. Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith? Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
And Mayor Alder?
Yes. Okay, thanks so much. We'll see you at final. Okay, thanks. Okay, our next item is item 7C, and this is a request for approval of a proposed master land use plan, and this is MLUP, the Enclave at Magonia Park. Applicant Waltman Group Incorporated requesting proposed master use plan. Amity, have anything?
I don't have to do anything here, sir. This is not quasi-judicial, so we're all set.
Okay, all right, thanks so much. Alrighty, before we do anything, we're going to go to administration and to our planner as well, just to see if there's anything you have, okay?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, just a reminder, this is to ratify the action, the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board meeting that happened previously. Same application.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much. Nilsa, you have anything at this point?
Yes, I just want to remind the council, and it's already on the staff report on page 9, that the applicant is requesting a waiver, and the granting of the waiver needs to needs to happen at this stage. Needs to be granted by the council, needs to be considered and granted by the council. So basically, the code, the PUD, Planned Unit Residential Use, required to provide a buffer area of at least 25 feet wide adjacent to and completely around the boundary of the PUD site. So the Town of Mangonia code states minimum buffer requirement can be waived or reduced by the Town Council through the PUD condition of approval of the master land use plan hearing. So the applicant is requesting a reduction of 5 feet along the west and the south property line.
Can you repeat that? What is it, reduction where?
They are going to show where exactly they're requesting the reduction on the west and south property line.
Is the reduction from 25 to 20 feet, is that right?
It's only 5 feet reduction, from 25 to 20.
Okay. I think, and Van addressed those in his.
Apologies, Doug Murray with the here. I had the computer cooperating, but that's correct. It was my talk up here. Requesting a reduction on the south and the west property line from 25 feet to 20 feet. We are going to exceed the code on landscape provided, as well as provide a 6-foot solid opaque fence to mitigate the 25-foot requirement. In addition, along the northeast property line, along the where the railroad is located, we're proposing a 30-foot buffer in that location, also with a opaque fence. So we're actually exceeding code in that area.
Yeah. The drawing is on page 8 of the staff report. You can see exactly where the applicant is requesting the waiver. So it's on page 8 of the staff report.
It would be page 8 of from your hearing at 6 o'clock from the master plan, yes. It would be in your original packet, not the packet.
It's this, just so we're clear, it's the same documentation for both, but as she said, it was part of the P&Z approval. It's very common with planned unit developments to have the allowance for deviation from the code.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, and I'm looking at Van's letter again, and I may just be reading too hard. Did he make a comment regarding the request, that request? Trying to see if he had anything in his comments regarding it.
About the landscaping, sir? Is that what you're asking?
About the variance.
It's not actually a variance, it's just a,
No, he's requesting a reduction.
correct, but it doesn't have to go through the full variance process through your Board of Adjustments. You have the authority.
Okay, so the VA did not have to address this at all?
No, sir.
Okay.
You as town council, your code allows, because it's a planned unit development, your code allows you sitting as the town council some latitude. It's, as I said, pretty common in planned unit developments to allow some discretion at the council level rather than a full variance review.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
No,
a
thanks.
waiver.
Okay. All righty, so what?
It's very similar to the parking dimension.
Yeah, they're
yes.
just looking to go from 25 to 20. Okay. So now, from a planning standpoint, Nilsa, so that we all, I'm there, right, so that we all understand, just from a planning standpoint, what would be the impact, if any at all, of going from the 25 to 20?
First of all, I would like to show, maybe I just stand here. very important for the council to understand.
20 foot?
The reduction. It will be here, in this side,
So on the west side.
and then also on the south side. So,
Okay, right, and the 6 foot wall?
the applicant can further explain what are they proposing on those specific here.
Right, again, the width, we're requesting the width to be reduced from 25 to 20, however, we are exceeding the amount of landscape that's required, and we're proposing a 6 foot solid, 6 foot fence, opaque fence.
Okay.
So the code does not require any type of fencing in the buffer.
Okay.
And we're proposing that to mitigate for the reduction of 5 feet.
I want to clarify, the fence that they are proposing is 6 feet vinyl fence. They are proposing a vinyl fence on the south and the west. And they are proposing, toward the railroad, they are proposing a wall, 6 feet wall toward the railroad. So there is a difference between the vinyl fence that they are proposing side, and here is the wall.
Okay, so a question as it relates to the south side, and that's with the 20-foot buffer and the 6-foot vinyl fence at the bottom?
Yes.
Right, and, okay, now that of course is adjacent to residential properties. Right, and I think and there's so many things that we talk about, I'm trying to remember, we talked about as it relates to the fencing, the sort of, not the actual wrought iron, but what do you call looks like the old wrought iron fencing? The aluminum is, I think it is, the decorative fencing as opposed to the chain link.
Yeah, we're not proposing chain link.
Okay, the vinyl, the panel.
It's a solid panel, like, if you didn't know any better, it looks like a wall. It's completely solid.
Okay, I'm sorry, my terminology is panel fencing, so. Okay, so the vinyl is, okay, oh, no, just a semantic, so wanted to make sure I understood. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, and you're going to have vegetation next to the wall.
That's correct.
Okay, ready? Okay. Ready, so in terms of your green belt, you're going to have like the grassy, like grass and...
Well, there's going to be a hedge.
A hedge and...
In front of the wall that will eventually, in front of the panel fence that will eventually grow up to basically block it, as well as canopy trees every 30 feet.
Okay. Okay. Oak? I'm not trying to get ahead of anything, but we'll get to that. It's okay. We'll get to it.
Not use oak trees just because they're damaging.
Oh, certainly. Okay. Not a problem. If approved, we'll get to it at initial. Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions council has?
Specifically on that topic, because I don't know, maybe just me, I know on the other part, going to the eastern quarter, remember there were those non-native trees by the railroad, so I know we're not going to be putting anything massive that's overgrown and get crazy. And in the classic example, Kaufman, St. Mary's Hospital, where it's redoing the railroad, those residents have those trees and it's got massive. So we're not putting anything against the fence like that. It's going to have to be eventually taken down and go to something more manageable, right?
Correct, and I can certainly examine that during preliminary and final approval, and we can discuss that in detail. And if for any reason that we have a tree that is that gets too large, we'll definitely.
Yeah, they're non-native, and I know they got a little mess. You can actually grill with them, but they get crazy when they start establishing.
We would be proposing native.
Yeah, something that's not going to crazy on that water.
Yeah, got some clearing out. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah, please take that out.
Okay. Okay. Oh, any other questions, council? Is any other questions or comments? Okay, Nelson?
Just one more comment. As the staff report indicates on page 9, the first paragraph, that further reviews will be done with regard to the architecture aesthetics at site plan review, as a preliminary site plan. So we are expecting to continue working with the applicant with regard to the aesthetics of this development.
Okay, well, thanks so much. Certainly, absolutely. Okay. Any other council comments or questions? Anything else from staff? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and the applicant has reviewed the staff report mentioned by our planner and understand those conditions there, as well as the report from the engineer. Okay, and you agree to all of those conditions? Okay, thanks so much. That being said, and we'll go to the floor if there's any comment from the floor. Any comment from the public? Okay. We have anyone on Zoom still, or have they logged off that may have a question or comment? Okay. All right, thanks so much. There's no one there, so we'll close the floor to public comment. We'll come back now to the dais. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. We have before you a request for approval of the proposed master land use plan, the MLUP, for the Enclave at Magonia Park. Applicant, the Waltman Group Incorporated. I'm sorry. Okay, thanks, Mayor.
Reading over your documentation, I just wanted a clarification on the agreement of the, to allow access connecting the deluxe storage development on West Place.
Oh, yes. So, one of the things that we have to do, because West Place is a platted right-of-way, and so what happened was when they built that Cadillac dealership, which I believe is within the city of West Palm Beach, they granted them an additional driveway. So the reason that we purchased, or that we work out an agreement with Mr. Beebe and his facility there, was to create more of the separation. So the county went ahead and issued a driveway permit, knowingly that you had a town right-of-way there. And there's supposed to be a specific spacing from center line to center line. Now, we've talked to Mr. Beebe, and we worked with him on his site plan, and we were going to go ahead and we would modify one. So when we build the road, we would also build his driveway as well. So, and then once the road is constructed, we would go ahead and deed it. Well, it's not even really deeding anything, because of the fact that it is a town right-of-way. This would be something that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we would work with the town attorney on, as far as a developer's agreement, as far as that Meritage Homes would come in, construct the road right-of-way, and certainly be built based on the standards that we've been discussing with the town engineer. Obviously, he's going to review our plans and has reviewed our plans and has commented on it. But yeah, that it's just going to have a little S-turn in it to meet the spacing requirement.
And if I may, Vice Mayor, what he said is correct. There is a lot more sort of legal review that happens over the next phase of this project, but that documentation was just provided as part of your submittal tonight, just to prove that he has an agreement in place to make the roadway configuration work with that property owner.
I believe you all have a copy of that as well. I submitted.
Yes, we do.
Dante, a quick question. Does this come into play with that road, in the line of that road, that has something to do with what you do, or just the parking lot of AutoNation, kind of like the children?
Well, what happened was is that, personally, they never should have really granted that additional driveway, because it contradicts, and again, our traffic engineer is here, he can talk more about that in the technical term, but the West Place has been a platted right-of-way for years, and prior to the Cadillac dealership, constructing their site. However, I'll let our transportation engineer talk to you a little bit more about the practicalities of that itself and how that all came about.
Yeah. Just real briefly, again, Chris Hagan with Kimberly Warren Associates for the traffic engineers on behalf of Meritage Homes. What we're talking about is all on the north side of the curve of 45th Street. So, as you know, West Place is just inside the town limits. On the other side is City of West Palm Beach, and the Cadillac dealership is in the City of West Palm Beach. They have a driveway that's all the way east, and I think the pointer wasn't working, but that connects to 45th Street. Because West Place Place was not built, the right-of-way was there. That somehow at some point in time, the county allowed them to build that driveway that's at the far eastern side of the Cadillac dealership. So, right there where Doug's highlighting on the screen.
Okay.
The county likes to have a minimum separation between driveways or between a driveway and a nearby street so that you can separate cars that are turning in and out of the driveway and in and out of a street. So when they reviewed it, even though the West Place right-of-way goes today is straight, north-south, it's pretty close to where that Cadillac dealership driveway is. So to make it, to create some better separation between the two, we worked with the property owner, Mr. Beebe, to create a little bit of a jog in West Place when we construct it. So it'll go a little bit, it'll jog a little bit over to the east so that there's more distance between West Place and the Cadillac dealership along that side of 45th Street.
Okay. Buddy, any other comments or questions, council? Okay. We're hearing none. Now, and forgive me, I was remiss in not asking a question at the P&Z. There was a concern raised by the two residents on Boardman, and Ms. Willis was here and expressed a concern about being blocked off. One of the things that we are always trying to tend to is not to adversely affect anyone. Of course, traffic aside, which anything, as we stated, without rehearsing that, is going to produce traffic. As I understood it, what was stated is that they would be blocked off as well and would have to use the new access point. Before you answer, I guess my position at this point in time is for those two residents, they're able to go down Boardman, hit South Place, and go left or right at the light, which is safer. Coming out now, if they're blocked off, they would now have to come through the access point, the West Place Road, and head to the right, and then loop around. Let's go to the one we have the larger scale of the cul-de-sac. Okay, there we go. Yes. Now, so for those two properties, now, my question is this. Again, we're trying to figure out how do we not adversely affect them and send them out from their normal route. Have you considered that, we're able to, in terms of trajectory, we're able to now move things in such a way that those two houses will be able to come off Boardman?
So we did look at that and in a couple of different ways. However, you wind up crossing private properties, and which creates liability. I mean, at that point, but I don't, there's not enough room to create that secondary driveway to run across, almost like a frontage road, so to speak.
Okay. I guess just in my layman's mind, I'm looking at the footprint of it. Now, just if you could hit the corner of where those two houses, the farthest house to the north. Okay. No, the house. If you want to go to the one with the houses, the aerial. No, that would be the development. Go back to the previous one. Would be better than that. Okay, there we go. Right. Now, if whomever, whichever representative want to sort of explain to us where you're going to be blocking off and how and with what. Feel free to go to the screen if you need.
No.
That's White's place, that's
Right. So where would the blockade be? The wall, whatever you're going to be blocking off.
This would be a raised curb.
Okay.
Around the outside of the cul-de-sac that it's creating.
Mm-hmm.
So this is to be fully paved cul-de-sac, and then there's going to be a raised curb
How high? Okay, and that's what you proposing to block access off with a 6-inch curb?
And there'll be some, those red button reflectors that are on that north side, I think there's 5 of them that are there. Obviously, the curb, the elevated curb will be all along the perimeter of the cul-de-sac. However, there will also be signage that would be located on the back side of that curb as well to deter anyone from driving through there itself, that they can see the visual barricade.
We can also look at planting there. It's going to be
That's
green
what I'm
space, so
thinking.
plant. As long as there's no site visibility issues, we can plant trees.
Okay, I guess we have to discuss that. Nilsa?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, all that detail will be very, very studied in detail during a preliminary site plan, and even the town engineer's letter also said that that will be part of the preliminary site plan to study how that not connectivity will be actually implemented.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, but I did at least want to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I may, Michael Spruce, Kinley Horn, civil engineer for the developer. So there are a couple of considerations. I mean, this is a fairly simple schematic, but we'd be looking at doing a curb on the east side of West Place, and then curb around also the back of the cul-de-sac. The reason that we have it laid out that way is because we also have to account for a fire truck or something coming down. They need to be able to turn around, and that's why we have that big bulbous in like a cul-de-sac. And as Doug said, in the green areas, we have the option of planting trees and hedges and other things like that. There are additional physical barrier, plus the signage. When you hit a dead end on a road, you're going to see a number of signs with, some of them are red and yellow with reflectors on them indicating a dead end and that you can't turn, and there'd be an arrow saying you have to turn around. So there's going to be a number of physical impediments there in this particular alignment. But also with that impedes the ability to create a connection from one of the properties on that side, because in one breath, we're trying to create a hindrance from people driving through there. So then to create a path to drive through there is a little challenging. We'll work on it with staff and see if we can accomplish both goals. But this is a demonstration of what could be and not necessarily what will be when we work out all the details with the town engineer. Thank you.
Well, certainly. Let's do this. And again, we cannot attend to it tonight because once we get to preliminary. But in the interim, let's look at how we go about not adversely affecting them. Because just real quick, and for the last 20 seconds, go back to the aerial of the proposed the shot. No, of the project, of the development.
That one.
No.
Click too fast.
Okay. And this is just for consideration, so that when we come, we won't have to have a whole lot of conversation. Okay, there we go.
That one.
Right. Now, you see how you have, for instance, now, my understanding, you see where you have the West Place exit, the egress, regress? Right. Now, my understanding is that, and I know that your borders there is just for effect for the most part, but my understanding was that this was a gated community, so there would be fencing. So if there's fencing, then wouldn't that be the impediment?
No, so what happens is that we have the entry road, as you can see, it's a almost circular in motion.
Mm-hmm.
The actual gates to the community are within.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we can work with the staff, and I believe we provided, more detail in our construction plans, but it shows that the actual gates allowing people to come in and out are further into the community.
Oh.
So create the internal stacking within the community. Now, one of the things is that, along West Place, there is that located immediately to our west is a combination of a drainage easement and an FPL easement as well. So we're kind of limited as far as, how much we can move one direction or another.
Okay.
We will certainly work with the staff and see if, we can put our heads together and possibly come up with an alternative.
Well, certainly. So let's do that. That's the charge, that we look at how we not adversely affect those two residents. And so working with staff, and then we come back when we discuss the preliminary. Okay? All righty. And we appreciate all the accommodations you've made, and I'm sure one more won't hurt. Okay? All right, thanks. All righty. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, it is before us. What is your pleasure as it relates to the proposed master use plan application before us? Motion, please.
And if I could, Mr. Mayor, before a motion is brought forth, if the maker of the motion, if it is to be for approval, could remember to include the waiver for the landscape buffer width in said motion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the preliminary site plan application.
No preliminary.
Is that the right one? No, no.
Master use, the MLUP,
See,
7C.
yeah, okay, I don't know wrong. Okay, sorry, pardon me.
No, we don't want to jump that far ahead.
We are not there yet.
No, we got some massaging to do, so. Okay.
Proposed master land use plan included in this approval would be the waiver, the landscape buffering.
Yes.
Okay, motion has been made to approve the,
And I would also with the considerations for the residents on West Place.
Boardman. Coming up for Boardman? West Place?
Yes.
West Place? Okay. Motion has been made. Is there a second to that motion?
I'm going to second it with the emphasis on paying close attention to a lot of the residents that there. I think it's a lot that's there for potential builders, so please, on the second, but please do your work on that.
Yeah, we'll get with the town engineer and, obviously work with the planner and see what we can put our heads together.
Specifically for the residents on West Place.
Specifically, yeah, I mean, I couldn't put it,
That's why I wanted to include it in the motion.
Okay, all righty.
You got folks that go to it, you got UPS, Prime, everybody go to it, so they got to be able to, I don't want to have to go at the egress and access in West Place, so we definitely work that.
Okay, good point. Okay. All righty, so the motion has been made and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing no questions on the motion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
And Mayor Alder?
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you at preliminary and do the homework and massaging, okay? And we appreciate you. Okay.
Nice to see you.
Oh, thanks, and you do the same.
Nice to see you. Please be careful.
All righty?
Be safe.
Okay. Okay, so we'll try and get through the rest real quick, and our next item is item 7D, and this is a consideration of award of renewal contract to Blue Cross and Shield. Ken? Okay, staff? No, not a problem. 7D is a consideration for the award of a renewal contract to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida. And this is, of course, is inclusive of the HR, the health account. Okay.
Our brokerage firm, the Gary Group, with Gary specifically, is taking care of his health and non-right health insurance. He is, will be available back on his weekend. However, he did go out to bid for our renewal contracts for providers. As you can see, 7D, E, F, and G all go with that. We have to take separate motions. Beginning with 7D, we budgeted during sessions for a 15% increase, and his packet shows you that Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is your healthcare provider, and your HRA, went up 6%, technically that was 5.86%. So it's well under the 15% increase. And we're asking to renew that contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
All the others have no increase?
Right, but we just have to go on this.
Okay.
This is being better, so I thought we were still the cost. Just got education.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the question?
He was asking
For clarity
on Blue Cross Blue Shield, the same carrier from the previous years. It's a QPOS, I believe, plan. And everybody was, we had very limited number of employees anyway, but the 6% was rounded up, even number. But that's the big increase versus the 15% we budgeted.
Okay.
So it came in under, not by 9%.
Okay. Anything else, Councilman Smith? Okay. Any other council comments or questions regarding this? Okay. Hearing none. So we have the consideration to award to Blue Cross and Blue Shield through our contractee for insurance purposes for the fiscal year. This is actually 2021. Okay. Effective December 21st. This is a 6 over the previous 1920. So this would be for the 2021 of next year.
It always crosses 2 budget years.
Okay. Okay. Motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve awarding the renewal contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield. The indicated increase.
Thank you so much. Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Questions on the motion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Next item is item 7F, and this is consideration for the award of a renewal contract to Guardian. I'm sorry, 7, I crossed it off ahead of time. Consideration for the award of a renewal contract to Emeritus, the dental insurance provider effective December 1st, 2020, with a 0% increase. Motion, comments, questions?
Of course, this one is self-explanatory, and this is the one that you pay for employees only, and it's for the 0% increase.
Okay, thanks so much. If there's no questions, we'll go ahead and we'll have a motion.
Move that we award renewal contract for Emeritus for dental.
Okay, has been moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Smith. Questions on the motion? Hearing none. Let's just do roll call for clarity. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Mayor Alberry?
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thanks so much. Our next item is item 7F, and this is a consideration for the award of a renewal contract to Guardian for the basic life A&D, effective December 1st, 2020, with a 0% increase. Okay. Questions or comments?
Of course, Guardian is, this is your second year with them, it's a renewal, it reflects the 0% increase for employees only, not Medicare coverage.
Okay. Thank you so much for the information. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. Motion, please.
I guess I'll do it again. I so move that we renew the contract with Guardian for basic life.
Motion made. Is there a second? Has been moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yeah.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
And Mayor Alberry?
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Our next item is item 7G, and this is consideration for the award of a renewal contract to Guardian for long-term disability insurance effective December 1st, 2020, with a 0% increase. Okay, staff? The same companies? Okay, 0%.
Employee care coverage only.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please. I'm sorry, motion, please.
I'll make a motion to award the renewal contract with Guardian long-term disability insurance effective December 1st, 2020. with 0 increase from FY 1920.
Thank you so much. A motion has been made. Is there a second to that? Has been properly moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Green?
Yep.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith? Vice President Jones?
Yes.
And also.
Yes. Thanks so much. So just by way of procedure, we'll open the floor to public comments. If there's any comment from the public or anyone online on Zoom or Facebook.
We gotta go back
No one?
to A4.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. My apologies. We'll close the floor to public comment. We'll go back to the item that was placed as under the manager's comments. Okay. Okay. So at this time, Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you for your time tonight. I know it's been a long evening. Thank you for your hard work. Just to go over, of course, we put out a couple of times now on December 1st, we're going to have a public hearing on our proposed utility rate increase. Going back, that was on the November bill, water bill. We did advertise that, and at our last meeting, we put the information out. We also did a door-to-door flyer this past Friday that we put that information on as well. So just putting it out tonight, and to give you a briefing on it, you may recall, and I think you mostly do, that in the summer we had numerous public workshops for the budget, and the utility rate increase was talked about at considerable length and considerable depth. So just wanted to put that out there again. What we would be looking at, if council so chose, would be a 1% increase to the base and consumption on the water side and also on the fire line. And on the wastewater side, you would be increasing per 1,000 gallons, $5.16 to $6.15. And again, the reason for these increases, the 1% on the water side, that is inflationary. That just helps us try to keep up with rising costs. And to be honest, it probably doesn't even do that, but that is what's on the table. On the sewer side, on the wastewater side, that is a combination of capital needs, like for example, just the other day, we authorized the emergency purchase of 2 new pumps for a lift station, $7,000. You know, these things happen. We have to keep that in mind. We have rising costs. And also, no big secret, we have to consider the cost for our pass-through agreement, either on the interim side or the future long-term agreement. So that's the rationale behind the 19% increase on the wastewater side. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, these were talked about at public workshops. I know that individually, one-on-one, we talked about it, but I'm happy to discuss more with you as need be. And I'm certainly entertaining your questions tonight.
Thank you so much, Ken. Are there any questions at this point for Ken on the proposed increase? Okay, Councilman Green?
Not about that.
Okay. Councilman Smith?
All right, on the sewer side, not the water side, it's proposed increase. We talked about that path to that top dollars. I mean, how much money? I mean, that you can answer that share. This increase, do we have an annual pricing? Is this increase on the sewer side?
No, we don't have a long-term agreement, no.
So I'm talking again, the equivalent dollars, money, with that.
Collected annually from sewer, or for the increase in
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Specific.
That would be a total of $675,000.
Right. That may not a question I'm asking. So you just answered.
Right. I mean, that's a wash.
And so,
So basically, the residents and the business is gonna, take on some of that increase the properties, the company has covered.
More than this.
And it's a legitimate concern because, that 90-degree has not disappeared. In fact, it's accelerated, that's a whole nother discussion, we can workshop it, we can table it, it hasn't gone bye-bye. And so, but I do have a specific question, that the 90-degree with your. I got you, okay. Sewer. So, it's late, I won't get into that, time will permit, but I am curious, we'll have to come back to that.
And I do want to remind everyone again, I mean, there for several years, we were paying Riviera Beach here, and we were charging here, so we were losing money for quite a few years. So just in the last couple of years, we tried to, catch that up and earnestly extend to our customers what we're being charged, so.
Well, you said try, so I know as a town city staff, the engineers, we done everything, changed the meters out to make them read accurately, and we sat down at the table with Riviera back and forth to try to, fix an ongoing thing. I don't think we'll get too much into it, so. I mean, as a resident, and whoever resides in the town, whether I'm a resident or business, we gotta find a way to fund this, situation we're in, so. I'm rambling, but God knows we need to, get some traction on that. I know attorneys and staff are trying to get that fixed, but, gonna happen, gotta happen. Hopefully so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on this item? Okay. Oh, thanks so much, Ken. What?
One other thing, as far as the manager's report goes, when you leave tonight, I don't think we've distributed them yet, but we have them here. We have 4 proposals on a new website, and I've made copies for everyone to take with them. And obviously, we won't decide tonight, but we would like to have a good discussion at our December 1st meeting. Perhaps we won't make a decision that night, but you'll take with you tonight enough information. Feel free to call me back. I'm sure everything won't be crystal clear, but we have 4 companies. 2 are local, 2 are not. They are all very legitimate. I've had extensive conversations with all of them, and I think these are the best 4 we can get. There's a couple in there that serve municipalities extensively, so, and exclusively.
Something else? Oh, it's 4, probably a 3 line on.
Yeah, there's 4 different ones.
One is like 1 page, front and back.
Mr. I want to get back.
Yeah, 4 different ones. Yeah.
There's 3.
That's a 3 different proposals.
And there's 1 combined. 3.
Single page one, but all right.
They were sitting on that. This is the 4th one.
Triple bids.
They kept it simple. 1 page. Okay.
You never have enough information.
I like the way they say home.
Yeah, they're simple. Okay, well, thanks so much, Ken. Anything else? Oh, thanks so much. Okay, Councilwoman Green?
Mr. Metcalf is, Is someone still working on our webpage? Are we still paying someone to do the webpage?
We have a contract with our IT guy, and specifically for the webpage, no ma'am, but he is working on it.
But we are not paying anybody?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
We do pay him through an IT agreement, but the
So we are still paying someone to do the webpage, is what I'm asking? Okay, that's what I was
He
asking.
does work on the website, and he does get paid, but he's paid through IT only, not the website.
He's paid through whom?
Those are computers for the water plant, the town, administration.
Oh, okay. That's why I was asking when I saw that, somebody's working on it.
Correct.
Okay. But because I was wondering why was somebody being paid to do the webpage if we have, okay, answer my question.
Okay. All right, thanks so much. All righty, Detective Woods, you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, thanks so much. Okay, Amity?
Nothing for you tonight, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. And I know it's been a long night, but we want to give opportunity if there's council comments. We'll start with Councilman Smith. You have anything?
It's been a long day, long night, very intense at times, but being respectful that COVID is still alive. But we're about to enter to the Thanksgiving holiday, so I want everyone to be safe in all their endeavors. And take some time with family, because family is my rock. And so, let's be safe about it.
Okay. All right, thanks so much. Councilman McConnell?
Just be safe, take care. That pandemic looks like it's coming back.
Feelings on shoulders, house.
Or, all we can do is just do whatever you gotta do. I mean, you're fighting something you can't see, so.
Okay.
So when I drive by your house, let's get the turkey and gravy, let's, distance and safe distance, and you just email it.
Yeah, just drive by and just drive by. He's still got the big grill, so. Okay. All right. Councilwoman Green, you have anything?
Wear your mask.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much. Vice Mayor?
I just have to say, I'm just a little saddened tonight because I felt that there were residents who wanted exceptions without consideration of the whole town. And I just don't think that's fair. I think we need to be considerate of all aspects of our town. That's my goal, and that's where I'll continue to be. If residents want to say something otherwise, they're not telling the truth.
Okay, alrighty. I'll just segue from that and say what I've said all along. You got to be willing to lose an election to do the right thing. And your right thing and my right thing, everybody's right thing is subject to your opinions, right? But it has to be based in fact, right? You hear me all the time, don't budget with your heart. Let that be your guiding principle, but budget with your mind. Just as it relates to this, and this is a request of a committee, if you would, I think we need an educational moment where we sort of talk about the process, and because I know for us, and I always understood that we use Robert's Rules of Order as it relates to our process here, so perhaps we probably just need an educational moment so that everyone understands how the process works, right? So I want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving, so I'm trying to parse my words, and sometimes I go too long when I do that, but we have to be respectful of the process. When council agrees that we're going to do a certain something, that goes for everybody. Everybody has to adhere to what we agree to. I'm constantly writing notes, and when I see hands go up, I'm writing, so I call on you, make sure I don't miss anybody. But what I'm also doing is watching the clock so that everyone gets an opportunity to talk, right? And so if I say, oh, thank you so much, I'm being a polite way of saying, okay, let's allow other people to talk at this point. So I never intentionally cut anybody off. It's just that as it relates to whomever your chair is, whomever he or she is, that is the person that runs the meeting. They're not better or bigger or have more authority than anything else, but that when your chair, whomever he or she is sitting in this spot, they govern the meeting. Is that incorrect? right?
No, that is correct.
Okay, right, and so we have to just be respectful of that, so that we have meetings that doesn't become disjointed, or that become what others, when they're intended, seems to, they would walk away thinking is adversarial. And no one here is my adversary. No one here is my enemy. Right, we're all here to do a job together, and so let's just do that, and let's stay focused on just doing the job together, okay? Alrighty, so we'll give Councilwoman Green the last word, and then we'll head on out of here. Almost time for the last word. We'll give Councilwoman Green the last word, okay? Thanks so much, okay?
I'd just like to make personal observation. We all up here are adults. I think this is the only municipality, and I think I've been in government longer than anybody sitting up here. I don't want us to begin to sound like, is it Boynton or Delray? Lake Worth? Omari. Is it Boynton?
Lake Worth.
Lake Worth. I could be wrong. That's why I'm looking at you. I don't think anybody up here is in a position. I think every council person should be allowed to speak. I don't think anybody up here would speak like 10, 15, or 20 minutes.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking. Before I even got there, that was where I was going. We need to learn protocol with each other. Nobody, not the mayor, the vice mayor, we need to watch what we say in public with each other. No one, if I'm the vice mayor, mayor, whoever, I would never cut another person off. And I think it is, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't need to say anything else.
Right. Just speak
Never mind. May I speak to you after the meeting, Mr. Mayor?
Right. So let me just add specificity. Because
through.
again, we do allow people to speak. It's just that when it's time to move, it's time to move. Right, and so that happens, and so that'll continue to happen, regardless of whomever your chairperson is, okay? Alrighty, and I will not be sitting in this position and let misinformation be put on the record, okay? Because it's unfair to everybody, okay? All right, thanks. But so just before we do, we have to properly adjourn, so motion for adjournment.
We have to mention that the Christmas event, because of COVID-19, is going to be held at the park. It's going to be a drive-through.
Okay.
And then it's going to be on December 20th, which is a Sunday. We haven't determined the time yet.
Okay,
And
all
it will
righty.
be via registration only.
Okay, all righty, so we'll govern ourselves according to that, and thanks so much, we'll get information as we go on.
December 20th.
20th, okay.
All righty, so with that, a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much. Have a great afternoon, well, rest of the night, and a great holiday. Thanks so much.
Well, we're knocking on that lake door there.
Yeah, this is
You remember them, don't you?
Oh, yes.